bold journalism.
But Drew Hernandez is a strong-minded individual.
Exposing lawlessness.
Drew Hernandez, who is ideological.
Finding the truth.
And use the word Antifa.
This is what they do.
Battling
They're
mainstream
liars. The woke mob, all they can do is lie.
These are the front lines.
Welcome to TPUSA Live. My name is Drew Hernandez, host of Frontlines. We have a lot of great stuff coming your way on the live stream today on this Friday the 13th. First up here on Frontlines, the new leader of the Ministry of Truth, aka the Disinformation Governance Board, says verified users should be able to edit your tweets. Oh, and apparently the Twitter censorship is actually affecting leftists, according to the same board, apparently. After that, we'll send it over to the TPUSA Live couch with your favorite contributors. Today, they're talking all about the indoctrination nation and the push for wokeness in America. Then Human Events Daily host Jack Posobiec explains why Chicago police can no longer take vacation hours. And while American babies go hungry because of the formula shortage, babies coming across the southern border illegally are getting pallets of the food they need. And then this week on The Spillover, one of the country's most controversial influencer couples is opening up about their famous family. And if you didn't get enough Alex Clark, she rounds out the stream with politics and the bombshell details she just released about a Marvel actress that people are starting to see. And by the way, to all my thought criminals out there, Frontlines is now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other streaming services. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a 5-star review now. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, smash that like button, hit the notification bell, and share this video everywhere. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or anywhere else, please reshare this transmission right now. My name is Drew Hernandez, and you are now on the front lines. Well, moment of silence, just a quick moment of silence. Press Secretary Jen Psaki, today was her last day, and if you take a look at Twitter, everybody is acting like it's Michael Jordan literally retiring from the NBA. Oh, she is a veteran. She's done so much. She's done a great service to this country, as if she, just got back from World War II. Jen Psaki sucks. Yes, Chucky, go find a new job. I'm sure she'll have some show on MSNBC and provide tons of content for us to just eat alive. It's going to be good, but yeah, screw Jen Psaki. Anyways, well, here is some breaking news. Today, broke this morning, Elon Musk tweeted this morning, an article from Reuters. Twitter estimates spam, fake accounts compromise, less than 5% of users filing. So this has led Elon Musk to put a hold on his Twitter deal, apparently. It's not finished, it's just on hold, according to him. Here's what Reuters reported. Twitter Inc. estimated in a filing on Monday that false or spam accounts represented fewer than 5% of its monetizable daily active users during the first quarter. The social media company had 229 million users who were served advertising in the first quarter. The disclosure came days after Tesla Inc. chief executive Elon Musk, who has inked a deal to buy Twitter for $44 billion, tweeted that one of his priorities would be to remove spam bots from the platform. Twitter said in the filing it faced several risks until the deal with Musk is closed, such as whether advertisers could continue to spend on Twitter and potential uncertainty regarding our future plans and strategy. So Elon did tweet this morning, and on top of the article, he tweeted, Twitter deal temporarily on hold pending details supporting calculation that spam fake accounts do indeed represent less than 5% of users. And then he put in his own thread, still committed to the acquisition. He's still committed to the deal, apparently. But this is why I told people, we got to really hold Elon Musk accountable to his claims. Is he going to put his money where his mouth is? We will see. But President Trump decided to weigh in on Truth Social this morning, and he said this: there is no way Elon Musk is going to buy Twitter at such a ridiculous price, especially since realizing it is a company largely based on bots or spam accounts. Fake anyone? By the time you get rid of them, if that can even be done, what do you have? Not much. If it weren't for the ridiculous billion breakup fee, Elon would have already been long gone. Just my opinion, but Truth Social is much better than Twitter and is absolutely exploding. Incredible engagement. I definitely think that's based on one's opinion. But I do think, and I've been saying this, is that we have to hold people like Elon Musk accountable. We can't just immediately rush and fall to our knees and worship somebody that is a multi-billionaire just because they say, I love free speech. We will see if this individual does uphold and really does love free speech. I mean, it's easy for me to say. I don't have, $44 billion just, laying around that I could go buy Twitter. But someone that does come out and say that I love free speech, I'm going to stand for free speech, I'm going to buy this company because this is the digital public square where people are conversating and having important conversations. Elon has made it very clear that he literally hates that media gets censored, that voices get censored, and that there isn't just a middle ground for both sides to have a conversation on Twitter. But my personal opinion is I'm pretty sure Elon Musk has already known about this. He already tweeted that he thinks that pretty much any human on Twitter should be verified as a real person. So to sit here and think that Elon didn't know that, Twitter had a majority of bots on the app. I mean, bots is not anything new. I mean, bots are used all over Instagram. They're used on Spotify by mainstream artists to boost their numbers. So, A&Rs and music producers and labels could, sign them like it's nothing. This is nothing new. Like, this has all been uncovered. So bots are used right now in the digital age. So to think that Elon Musk didn't know about this would be kind of far-fetched. That's just my opinion. But I definitely do think he's going to use this to his advantage to maybe lower the price to acquire Twitter for something cheaper. But what does that really mean? We will see. We will see. But speaking of Twitter and the thought police and the Ministry of Truth, the New York Post reports that Nina Jankowicz, says verified Twitter users should edit others' tweets. The disinformation expert, tapped by President Biden to head the new U.S. agency division that critics have likened to an Orwellian Ministry of Truth, says that verified Twitter users should be able to edit other users' tweets if they believe they are misleading. Nina Jankowicz, whose appointment as director of the new disinformation governance board in the Department of Homeland Security has stoked concerns about government censorship, of course, told participants in a recent Zoom chat that she is verified by Twitter before adding that there are a lot of people who shouldn't be verified who aren't legit because they are not trustworthy. And then she adds verified people can essentially start to edit Twitter in the same sort of way that Wikipedia is, so they can add context to certain tweets.
And I am eligible for it because I'm verified. But there are a lot of people who shouldn't be verified who aren't, legit, in my opinion. I mean, they are real people, but they're not trustworthy. Anyway, so verified people can essentially start to edit Twitter the same sort of way that Wikipedia is, so they can add context to certain tweets. If President Trump were still on Twitter and tweeted a claim about voter fraud, someone could add context from one of the 60 lawsuits that went through the court, adding context so that people have a fuller picture rather than just an individual claim on a tweet.
So this is someone appointed by the federal government, the Disinformation Governance Board, the Ministry of Truth. This is someone that believes that they have the authority because I'm verified, because I am an elite on Twitter, because I've been identified as a verifiable source on Twitter, and because the federal government has appointed me to be the head of the Ministry of Truth. I believe that we should be able to edit your tweet if we believe we should, if we think that it's disinformation or misinformation, if we believe that your tweet is somehow not accurate or not verifiable. Oh, I will take it upon myself to do this. Does that sound kind of familiar to you? It's kind of what the fact checkers do, the fact checkers on Facebook and Twitter. When you see the little labels on top of somebody's tweet, oh, fact check, this isn't true. This is actually the truth that we want you to believe. Don't think for yourself because Snopes is going to think for you. And our disinformation, misinformation agents of truth are going to think for you and show you what the truth is. Okay, now that's going from social media and it's coming into the real world because the feds want to appoint a ministry of truth that's real. It's backed up by the federal government. And the individual, Nina Jankowicz, the one that is literally quarterbacking this entire thing, is already taken to the airwaves and telling you that we are going to control your speech. They get to define what is hate speech. They get to define what is free speech. They get to define what is allowed speech because that is how this works. They want to control what you say on Twitter. The federal government is going to do this now. It's crazy, isn't it? It used to just be the fact checkers and the social media, the shadow ban council that would take your Twitter account and go through it and see what's misinformation and disinformation. They do it all over Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. But now you have the federal government, and they're telling you straight to your face that we will edit your tweets. The federal government is going to edit your speech. They are going to say what you can or cannot say. I mean, we knew that big tech was a problem, and these big tech overlords, the overlords of the universe, the rulers of the universe, they get to dictate what we can or cannot say. But here is the federal government knocking on your door that is now going to control the speech and the discourse on Twitter. They claim, we will see. Well, Nina Jankowicz, she really is. This really is something. Here's another video of her claiming that it's not conservatives being silenced on social media, it's liberals and minorities.
There's already this idea, this allegation that there is anti-conservative bias on the platforms, even though there has been study after study proving, in fact, that often it's liberal voices that are being silenced, particularly minority voices on social media. So I think we're going to see more allegations of that.
Yeah, it's liberal voices. It's leftists, liberals, and minorities. I mean, technically, she's kind of right. I mean, if you are a minority, but you're just on the wrong side politically, like me, like black people that are conservatives or just patriots or freedom-loving individuals, yeah, there are a bunch of minorities that are getting silenced all over social media because they're the real racists, they're the real oppressors, and they don't want minorities speaking out for themselves unless it's pre-approved. But they tell you right out in the open what they want to do. She's literally telling you, oh, it's the liberals, it's the leftists. They're the ones that are being silenced. Like, the gaslighting is truly insane. I mean, these people just gaslight right in front of your face because we all know, everybody knows, even the most hardcore, far left, communist psychopath on Twitter knows that it's not conservatives getting silenced, shadow banned, or oppressed on Twitter. They know this. You think she doesn't know that? Of course she knows that. But A, she knows her base is probably stupid enough to believe it. And B, she doesn't care. She's going to say it anyways because she's just going to do whatever she wants. And they set up the narrative in the minds of millions of people. This is how propaganda works. The art of propaganda is taking lies, taking narratives, putting them into the forefront of society, into the minds of millions of people, whether it's audio, whether it's visual, you name it. And it prepares people to already accept what the lie is. You put it fresh into their mind. So when they begin to roll things out, it's accepted by the masses. You saw this in 2020. You've been seeing this across history. They put the lies out. They put the disinformation, the misinformation out. They get the masses to believe it. So when they begin to move on certain things, oh, hey, remember what we told you? Remember what we told you? Oh, I guarantee you this is where this is going. They're going to crack down so hard on anyone that is not coinciding with their narrative. And what they're going to say is it's the right-wingers. They're dangerous, what they're saying. It's hate speech. It's going to lead to more real-world violence. It's more disinformation. It's more misinformation. This is going to get you killed. This is for your own good, for your own safety. And they're going to crack down so hard on all of the freedom-loving individuals that are speaking out on Twitter, speaking out on social media. They're going to end up showing up to your house because it's the federal government. They're doing this in Australia. They're doing this in other totalitarian regimes in the United States of America. Oh, you post something on Facebook. I mean, they do it in Canada. You misgender somebody, And the federal government will come to your house and say, oh, that's hate speech. You shouldn't be talking like that. Or you said something about COVID that is misinformation or disinformation. And they come to your house, they lock you up, and they throw you in jail. That's what they do. And that is exactly what this ministry of truth is as well. And that's what they want to do because it's about power and it's about control. And Nina Jankowicz is a psychopath. And that's the exact person you need to head a ministry of truth like that that's about to oppress people and their speech. You just wait. So when they make that move and they start cracking down hard on people, silencing them out in the open even more by the masses, it's going to be accepted in the minds of millions of lemmings that are like, oh, yes, the NPCs. Nina Jankowicz told me that these are right-wingers that are going to hurt me and they need to be silenced. They should be able to alter their tweets or say, oh, this is for my safety. And the propaganda was already thrown out there. So when they move, it's accepted by the lemmings that don't think for themselves. That's how it works. That's literally how it works. Well, speaking of totalitarianism, President Joe Biden would rather blame inflation on Putin's price hike rather than his poor economic policies. I'm sure I don't have to tell you, everything is more expensive these days. On top of that, the government has abandoned small American farms and ranches to cater to large foreign corporations. We need to put our money where our patriotism is now more than ever. You can do that with Good Ranchers. You can get American meat delivered right to your door with Good Ranchers. They ship steakhouse quality beef, chicken, and seafood for the price of competitors, for half the price of competitors. They only sell beef born, raised, and harvested here in America. Skip the store full of foreign products and buy your meat for Americans. Plus, when you buy Good Ranchers, you support TPUSA and everything we do. When you buy a box of meat, Good Ranchers donates $50 to us on your behalf. They believe in what we do and support us. It's easy, but the impact is huge. Donate $50 to TPUSA by visiting goodranchers.com/TPUSA and buying your box of American meat today. All right, America, well, let's continue. Obviously, the federal government, we were warned this from Snowden. Whatever your opinion is on Snowden, the truth came out. NSA is watching people. The NSA has the ability to spy on you. This is why everyone puts tape over their cameras on their laptops right now, or puts tape over their webcams if they have it at their CPU at home. It's nothing new. The federal government has the power to watch your every single move. Look at geo-tracking. Look at everything that these people have the ability to do, to listen into your conversations, to listen into your life. They have the ability to watch your movement. They can geo-track your cell phone. If you got GPS on your cell phone, which everybody does on their smartphones nowadays, of course, if you need to figure out how to get somewhere, they use that against the American people. And the FBI has been doing this to parents. They've been doing this to media organizations such as Project Veritas. Breaking news, the FBI whistleblower has leaked documents showing Bureau targeting news media. That's the FBI. A whistleblower is now coming forward and blowing the whistle on the FBI, that they are targeting Project Veritas. A source within the FBI has come forward to expose the FBI's targeting of members of the news media, that's how they worded it, including information about what the FBI calls a special investigative matter, a SIM, okay? Regarding their investigation into Project Veritas over Ashley Biden's abandoned diary. According to a document obtained and published by Project Veritas, the FBI opened an investigation into Project Veritas knowing full well they were journalists, as the document is labeled under a news media classification. The classification is a direct contradiction to the government's court filing, where they argued that actions taken by the government to surveil, raid, and seize materials from Project Veritas journalists were appropriate. The government's filing stated Project Veritas is not engaged in journalism within any traditional or accepted definition of that word, end quote. That is literally what the feds are saying about Project Veritas. Let me repeat that. This is what the feds are saying about Project Veritas. Project Veritas is not engaged in journalism within any traditional or accepted definition of that word, end quote, because its reporting is non-consensual. The whistleblower, who has several years of experience as an FBI special agent, came to Project Veritas because he said the direction that the agency has headed troubles a vast majority of the agents. Well, here's the first clip of this FBI whistleblower explaining how Project Veritas is literally being targeted by the FBI.
So you've been a special agent for a number of years.
Correct.
Special agent with the FBI.
That's correct.
And you're still being paid for that role.
Yes. There's a number of very troubling things that are happening within the FBI.
What brought you to Project Veritas?
Project Veritas appears to be a victim of political undertakings, which is where this agency has gone.
You came across some information.
The file that you're talking about is background on the Project Veritas investigation that resulted in the search warrant at your premises. We don't see a lot of investigations into news organizations. It's not common to see a criminal investigation, particularly one categorized the way that this is alerting, and it's surprising based on the public information that is provided. So SIM is a classification that means it's a sensitive investigative matter. Because it's sensitive, it could be a political figure, it could be a news media organization.
Who makes the classification that we're news media?
It would usually be identified as by the case agents who are working it, and it's also done in conjunction with the chief division counsel of that field office, who's going to be the top internal lawyer.
Well, there you have it. The FBI literally comes out and says that Project Veritas is not journalism. That's exactly what the federal government says about an independent news organization, that they are not journalism. According to the traditional definition of journalism, notice how they have the ability to define what they say is journalism. They have the ability to say who's a journalist and who's not. What about the First Amendment, the freedom of the press? You, as an American at home, all you need to do is show up to an event with a camera, with a notepad, something to document, something happening in the world. You got the First Amendment right of the freedom of press to do that. These people are psychopaths. They don't respect the American Constitution. They don't respect your First Amendment right to the freedom of press because they get to define who's press, they get to define who's a reporter, they get to define who's actually a journalist and who's not. Since when? That's what the Constitution's for. But these people don't abide by the Constitution because they just do as thou wilt, because they're psychopaths. Well, here is the FBI agent further explaining to James O'Keefe that in order for the FBI to conduct or launch an investigation so extensively like this, it doesn't require any wrongdoing. And they spy on you, they watch you, they surveil you, and it doesn't require any wrongdoing on your part. They can just do it. Take a look.
CAST is an internal program in the FBI that uses sophisticated techniques to exploit cell phone data for location and for content.
Going down to Sentinel tags.
This was chosen by the people who opened up this case. They had to specifically list the threat tags that they wanted to identify. The intelligence investigation is meant for information. That doesn't require that you've done anything wrong. The dialogue, that's the governing dynamic for the FBI.
One paragraph justification for spying on anyone?
It's one of the few parts of the entire public document that you see that will be redacted. It's truly an incredible amount of power if used wrong.
What do you hope comes from your endeavor to be here and say all this?
I would hope that we could end up with a nonpartisan law enforcement agency in this country that's not doing things that seem to be inappropriate. Just you doing the job that you're told, following those orders, is to maintain your paycheck and your pension that gives you the Holocaust. So then you end up with somebody who's willing to do something that maybe compromises their ethics.
Well, there it is, out in the open. What Project Veritas has uncovered and exposed is essentially this, that the FBI, the federal government, has the ability to launch an investigation into you, American. Okay, you are Project Veritas. That's you, okay? You have just as much of a right to be a reporter as James O'Keefe does because of the First Amendment of the United States of America, period. So the FBI has the ability to look into your life, whether it's a criminal investigation or an intel gathering investigation. They do this to domestic terrorists and terrorists abroad. This is what the CIA does. This is what the NSA does. This is what the FBI does. They have the ability to look into your life if they just want intel on you, if they decide to do it, and all it takes is a small paragraph to justify to do that, to literally invade your life and your privacy. Big government watches you. Big brother watches you. These people have the ability to look into any of their political opponents, and the FBI and the federal government has been weaponized by the far left and the deep state and the global elites to go after anyone that is a patriot, anyone that loves America, anyone that loves freedom, anyone that is not in lockstep with this global totalitarian agenda, and they're doing it. They're doing it every single day. They're going after independent media like Project Veritas. This is not okay. This is not okay at all. And speaking of the FBI targeting people, not only are they targeting the media, they're literally targeting parents as well. Here's a new revelation from the Post-Millennial. The FBI targeted parents using terrorism tools despite President Biden's Attorney General's testimony saying that they didn't, according to whistleblowers. Here's one of the documents in the Post-Millennial of them claiming what's taking place. We now have evidence that contrary to that's Garland, the AG, testimony, the FBI has labeled at least dozens of investigations into parents with a threat tag created by the Counterterrorism Division to assess and track investigations related to school boards. Okay, these are official documents coming out. This is the exposure of what the FBI is doing, targeting children. This came from Republican Rep. Jim Jordan and Mike Johnson. They sent a letter to the United States Attorney General claiming that whistleblowers have come forward and revealed that the FBI has labeled dozens of investigations into parents who protested schools' COVID policies with a threat tag created by the FBI's Counterterrorism Division, despite the AG claiming it never happened. Here's another page from this document. We have learned from brave whistleblowers that the FBI has opened investigations with that EDU official's threat tag in almost every region of the country, relating to all types of educational settings. The information we have received shows how, as a direct result of Garland, the AG, his directive, federal law enforcement is using counterterrorism resources to investigate protected First Amendment activity. It goes on to list 3 specific instances. The field office interviewed a mom for telling her child's school board, "We are coming for you." The complaint alleged this mom was a threat because she belongs to a right-wing's moms group known as Moms for Liberty and is a gun owner. When the FBI interviewed her, they found out she was upset over the school board's mask mandate policy and wanted them to know her organization would try to replace the board members in the next election. Domestic terrorist, because you disagree with us. Here's a third page from this document. These investigations into parents were the direct result of Garland, the AG, his October 4th directive to the FBI. Parents have an undisputed right to direct the upbringing and education of their children, which includes voicing their strong opposition to controversial curricula at local schools. Reps Jim Jordan and Mike Johnson once again called on AG Merrick Garland to rescind the October 4th, all of this stuff, memorandum. You know, I've been telling you guys this for a while. They will label you what they want you to be, and they use it as justification to go after you. It's happened to me. It's happened to many of my friends, people that are patriots, that just love the country, that speak out against the deep state, that speak out against what these globalists are doing, that speak out. This is not just about like leftists and having a difference of politics. This is not just like having a disagreement of some kind of political ideology. These are real world fascists. These are real world authoritarians. They're weaponizing the FBI to go after the media that's in opposition to their narrative. They're going after Project Veritas, not because Project Veritas is doing anything wrong, but because Project Veritas exposes who they are and unmasks them for what they're doing. They're not going after mothers because, they're domestic terrorists and, they've issued bomb threats and we need to take this serious. No, they say it right there. She owns a gun. She's a part of a group called Patriots for Moms. She's a right-winger. You see what they do? They issue their own labels. They define their own terms as justification to mobilize the federal government and all of their resources. Big Brother, the FBI, they mobilize all of the power that they wield to go after their political opponents. And that's you, Mom. You are James O'Keefe. Dad, you are James O'Keefe. If you want to be the next journalist, the next reporter, you are Project Veritas. Count the cost. You want to go and expose these people? This is what awaits you, because they don't want to be exposed. They want to continue and be in the dark, and they want to control your life. My name is Drew Hernandez. These are the Front Lines, and TPUSA Live starts right now.
Thanks a lot, Drew. What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, John Root. Welcome to TPUSA HQ in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. This is what we're covering today on TPUSA Live. First, in the daily briefing, never before seen photos of a black hole at the middle of our galaxy. I think the time is ending. I think it's a good time. We'll talk about that. After 2 years of no confirmed cases of COVID in North Korea, they've declared a national emergency. That and so much more in the daily briefing. Next, sayonara, Press Secretary Jen Psaki, in honor of her last day before moving on to Misinformation BC, also known as MSNBC, will look back on her best deflection, misinformation, and circle back moments. Then Johns Hopkins University announced a professor who defended pedophilia will be joining its Child Sexual Abuse Prevention Center. Doesn't get any crazier than that. But finally, a list of liberal meltdowns, including a young Turk freaking out about Joe Rogan exposing groomers, followed by what's new at HQ and one last thing. All right, let's roll. TPUSA Live from HQ starts right now.
Authentic, unfiltered, grassroots content and conversation every weekday. Live from Phoenix, Arizona at the Turning Point USA headquarters, this is TPUSA Live.
Well, welcome back to TPUSA Live. One quick note before we get into who these two are with the shades on and Anthony Watson. Quick note, after today, TPUSA Live is going on a short little break. We're getting ready for all the amazing summer events like YWLS, the Student Action Summit. We're also working on some amazing new changes, some very, very big changes, and getting ready to take the show to a whole nother level. In the meantime, you can follow TPUSA Live's Instagram account for updates. All right, let's get rolling. Hello. Stunning shades. We got MAGA chick here.
Yeah.
And MAGA hole.
Well, we were on yesterday and we were talking about MAGA King.
Yeah.
And Steven had
Ultra MAGA.
Ultra MAGA. And then we were sitting in the room just waiting to come on, and I said, I can't sit by you and not have glasses on. And then magically there was this hat.
Boom.
I actually have no idea whose hat this is. So if this is yours, it's mine now.
Mine. It's yours now.
It's mine now.
that
It's like
simple,
folded
yeah.
and everything, but I had to.
You gotta rock it.
I know.
I will say this though, I can't be the only one that feels this way, but Steven MAGA does not look like himself when he doesn't have shades on.
No, and I feel
He's a whole different person. Take your shades off real fast.
Oh, this is monumental.
Oh my gosh, who are you? It's a whole nother person.
This
Wait,
is
put him back
like,
on. Where'd Hulk go? Oh, he's back. He's back. There he is.
It's his mask. It's a superhero mask.
Exactly. You don't know who I am.
You don't know who he is.
Exactly.
That's monumental.
I gotta
I don't
take
think you've
this
ever
off,
done
though.
that on the show
I
before.
think this is the first time, seriously. So thank you.
We've
wanna
seen
mess up my hair.
his face. It's like unmasking Batman.
Seriously.
We know who Batman is now.
Finally.
This is great.
I'll
This
let
is
you
a-
have your glasses though. That was fun.
I will say, Paige has got some really sick shades.
For real,
She
though.
let me try them on, and oh my gosh, I felt so empowered.
They
so thank you.
I'm very well known for these. They are a designer, but I had a company called Dylan Optics put their lens in it, and we are actually coming out with my own design this fall. They're going to be some chick glasses, and of course, they're going to be ballistic grade and ready to shoot.
Boom.
Well, after that shameless plug, let's talk about the black hole in the middle of the Milky Way. Yeah, like this is a crazy story. So I guess some radio astronomers have imaged the supermassive black hole in the middle of the Milky Way.
I think you mean an oppressed space, an oppressed vacuum.
That's it.
Oh, a minority hole, whatever you
A
want to call it.
black holy space is what it is.
That's the only people they're sucking into it. There it is. I'm sorry to all the minorities. It's going to be like the new blip. Like what happened.
Yeah.
Where'd they all go? White supremacy rules.
Oh my God.
That'll definitely alleviate crime in certain cities.
We are off the rails. But I guess this is the second ever direct image of a black hole after the same team unveiled a picture of a more distant black hole in 2019. So now that we know that minorities are going to get sucked into that, is that factual information?
Well, I'll tell you in about 2 years if it works on me or not. I honestly
it's not
feel
the
like
rapture, it was the black hole. But there was also another piece of news that after over 2 years, North Korea finally said they have a confirmed case of COVID. I'm calling BS.
You don't say.
Like, I know they're
Emergency. State of emergency.
Yeah, that's what they just declared. So they declared a national emergency after reporting its first case of COVID-19. And I guess this was at least one case of the homie Omicron.
The homie Omi showed up.
Wait.
So
Omicron.
that was in their capital city, Pyeongchang. And then there is North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un. So he ordered all cities to be put under lockdowns after the state confirmed its first COVID-19 case. Like I said, Kim's regime has long denied that it has seen a COVID case, a claim doubted by experts in the U.S. and pretty much everyone.
I'm surprised he doesn't just put that one case of COVID, that person with that one case, in the black hole.
There we go.
Well, I think they have missiles.
See what I
that can
just
send
did
them
there?
shocker.
See what I
Hey, just
did
put them
there?
on one of the rockets. Aim them for it.
There you
Full
go.
send.
Have at it.
You're telling me you have more nuclear missiles than you've had COVID cases over the past 2+ years?
I mean, I'm just looking at that photo. I mean, like, it's not shocking that you see a dictator with his generals being like, yeah, we're just going to just say it's COVID. I was like, call me a conspiracy theorist, but, you know.
Tinfoil hat.
Yes.
Where's it at?
So I guess North Korea, they were eligible to participate in COVAX. You guys heard of that before?
No, what's that?
So COVAX is the United Nations International Vaccine Sharing Program. Sharing is caring, obviously.
For
born
North
in the
Korea?
UN.
Sharing?
But in February, COVAX cut the country's allotment of vaccines because it had not arranged to receive any shipments. So what I'm kind of expecting here is it's going to be a place that you're seeing some of these photos here. They're going to be in dire need of maybe something like that. People that are vulnerable that want to get that, it's not going to be available to them. And the guy clearly doesn't care about you. Shocker,
So,
right?
okay, I'm sorry. Explain that one more time. COVAX?
COVAX. So it's basically their
That
program.
sounds like a one of those pharmaceutical commercials that you see late at night.
Yeah.
Do you suffer from chronic illness?
Yeah.
Do you have
So,
terminal?
okay. we can
COVAX.
talk about it later. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I'll put my tinfoil hat on, but I think this is a place where it's just like, all right, well, this allotment ended for COVAX. Now we're going to need to get everything from Moderna, Pfizer, because
Got
everything's
it.
slowing down here.
Got it. Yep.
And then now it's shipping off to North Korea. I don't know.
I'm with you now.
But the best piece of news we have in the daily briefing is luckily everybody that worked at CNN Plus, you get a nice little gift basket for your failure.
For your failure.
So
Good
this is
party
tweeted
day.
out. So there was no golden ticket in these, I'm told. So I'm so sorry. But the new parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery, basically a gut punch set to CNN Plus employees after they spent $300 million to get this thing off the ground. Got less than 10,000 subscribers on there. And I guess they mistakenly mailed out these gift baskets.
What?
To employees who had been fired a week earlier. Could you imagine that? It's like, oh man, could you imagine?
What did the gift? Was the gift basket just chocolate?
No, so it included things like they had pens. Wow.
Good.
It's incredible. I need that. Once you get
Stationary.
fired, I need a pen.
What about pop sockets? You can't have a pen without a pop socket.
Especially CNN.
I don't know if they had pop sockets. All I heard was about pens. They had food containers.
A CNN Plus T-shirt. You know, we were talking about and joking about this earlier. This is the equivalent to Derek Jeter's gift basket, what he gave every single female that he hooked up with on their way out the door. A signed jersey, a signed baseball, whatever he gave them, and then literally just sent them on their way.
His gift basket sounds so much better. If you're gonna have one, not that I'm just kidding, but
Well, he had a longer stint than CNN Plus did, so
Yeah.
Very
it
true.
would mean more coming from a Hall of Famer than the Hall of Shame of CNN Plus.
Well, I think both parties got used there.
Yeah, clearly.
Oh, yes.
Clearly.
Literally and figuratively.
But it's funny, they had some other items like a popcorn maker and headphones. Could you imagine being like, oh man.
Do you know, I feel like they were just cleaning out their office.
I know.
What'd you get? I got a NutriBullet. Looks like it's still got some celery in here, but I mean.
Weird.
I'll take it.
Well, a bunch of people just decided to drop their old jobs and join us at CNN Plus. What should we give them? All right, we've got a bunch of extra popcorn makers. Get the pens.
Definitely the pens.
They just went desk to desk and was like, here you go. This one doesn't work. Throw that one out.
That's terrible.
Get them gas cards or something.
Yes.
Like that. I don't know. But that is the Daily Briefing. We're going to get you pumped up for the Young Women's Leadership Summit. We're going to give you some promo codes right after this. Don't go anywhere.
And I hope you're filled with courage and conviction, clarity, and a little bit of wisdom. Know that we at Turning Point USA, we have your back.
Now that Paige Rue has this all set up here, does that
getting
look
it all
good? You
set
got the
up, you
ballistic
guys.
glasses, you got the MAGA hat.
You can't see the back of the hat.
Gucci tactical ballistic glasses.
Yeah.
Guccical or
They're
Tactigucci.
tactical.
Tactiki.
Gucci.
Tactigucci.
Gucci, yeah.
Tactiki.
Tactic.
Not sponsored by Gucci. I wish that would
Darn.
have been really nice.
That
but-
How conservative is Gucci?
I actually don't know, and it's one of those things that I just don't. So I won't buy Louis Vuitton because I went.
Oh, that was sketch.
I know. So yeah, I don't buy Louis Vuitton because I refuse to wear masks during like the whole, COVID weird. And
At least you're not in North Korea.
Yeah, I know, right? But I went shopping with a friend of mine, and she really wanted a Louis Vuitton bag, so I was like, I'm gonna go with you. And they were horrendous to me. I wouldn't wear a mask. I wasn't allowed to have my coffee in there. They wanted me to set it down at the front of the store. There was lines, and I was like, this is really disrespectful. Like, I'm not setting my coffee down. I don't know what y'all are gonna do to it. So it was just a very, very bad experience. They were super woke, and so I refused to buy Louis Vuitton. I personally love to treat myself to Gucci.
Come on.
I'm an independent woman.
You've earned it.
I've earned it. I pay for it. However,
E-N-T-E-N-T. Do you know what that means?
Why'd you guys put me on the show with all of these men tonight?
Yo, we're hyping you
I
up.
know, I love it. It's the
We're
weekend.
Hype Squad.
But yeah, I just don't really want to know if they're woke. I'm not ready for that information yet. If they are, I don't know.
This could be the turning for Gucci.
This could be
Could
the turning
be.
point.
All right, ignorance is bliss for
Right now.
Paige Rue. But if
Just
you want
right
to get
now.
tickets to YWLS and wear your Gucci there, you can go to tpusa.com/YWLS and use promo code Paige
Yes. Paige.
or Hulk
Yes.
or John
I don't have a code,
or
but
Paige.
black hole. Use code black hole.
minorities beware.
Coming to an inner
It's a
city
trap.
near you.
Exactly.
So today is a monumental day for our nation. I don't know why it's not a national holiday, but Press Secretary Jen Psaki has said bye-bye.
Tis boo.
Oh, sorry.
Tis boo.
It is her last day as the White House Press Secretary.
Darn.
And I don't know what we're going to do without hearing circle back. I don't know what we're going to do without the deflection and distraction techniques. I don't know what we're going to do.
I hope a song is made with all of her voices.
There is a great circle back song from
By Topher.
Topher. So he did that live on our show. If you want to go back and watch that, that was incredible.
Really?
I actually might
Awesome.
need to post that after the show.
Yeah.
Please
yeah,
do.
Yeah.
I'm all about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
To celebrate. I
Yeah,
think that'd be
definitely
great.
to celebrate.
I want to start with this though. So Peter Doocy and Jen Psaki, it's probably my favorite political rivalry.
Yeah.
These two go back and forth. And have you guys seen Spider-Man?
Yes.
You know when Doc Ock comes out and he says, "Well, hello, Peter." I feel like she's like the Doc Ock of press secretaries. Okay, Peter. Listen here, Peter. All right, Peter. I need a compilation of that.
Yes.
So, Peter.
Go ahead, Peter.
But
yes, Peter.
we're going to show you what Peter Ducey tweeted out this morning, and I thought it was fantastic because I was wondering what their interaction would be and if he had anything to say about this. But he ended up saying it's an end of an era in the Brady briefing room. Good luck, Jen Psaki. Is she about
really that short?
Is she about the same size as Lord
We
Fauci?
represent the Lollipop Guild. The Lollipop Guild.
Y'all are so savage today. I love it.
Yeah.
They were
Ducey's
convened.
like, great job. Way to go.
They conveniently were redheads in the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, conveniently.
I thought that was great though because like they've obviously had such tension.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun back and forth because I think
Yeah.
Peter Ducey's the only guy that's asking real questions.
Exactly, challenging her.
In the press room. But for a post like that, that's fun. I would love to see them start like a debate show with both of them.
But
like, that would actually make me watch
Great.
MSNBC.
I honestly
That
would.
would
If
be
they're
great.
smart, they will do that.
Do you
shit.
think that's going to lead to like a tirade over Twitter and the internet? Because remember when Lindsey Graham fist bumped like Kamala Harris?
Oh.
You've got him with his arm around Jen Psaki,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, like you can't please nobody.
Well, I feel like we gotta have fun with
I was like,
something
yeah,
like that.
the dude asked all the hard questions, and he's just like, well, now it's like, see you later. Now, Jean-Pierre, where are you?
Goodness. Yes.
Yeah, I know we broke that down a couple days ago, what the new press secretary's got going on, but it's a first LGBTQ black press secretary.
Yeah,
So
but
it's huge. It's gonna be massive,
Yeah,
right?
it's gonna be disastrous. Look at Chicago. You had your first LGBTQ black, mayor. Chirac. It's gonna be Chirac up in that press
Look
conference
at VP
room.
Kamala Harris too. I mean, come on now. She is not much better at all.
Check out
whatsoever.
Supreme Court Justice too.
Go on down the list.
Chirac everywhere.
I
Just
think-
Chirac.
I hope we get back to a day where we hire people based on intellect and goals and moral compasses.
That's coming from your privilege page. Buy some more Gucci, okay? Show up in your Gucci and tell us what we should do, all right? You oppressor.
There you go.
The MAGA queen is here.
The MAGA queen.
I like it.
But in honor of Press Secretary Jen Psaki's last day as the White House press secretary, we're going to go over 5 of her worst moments.
Oh, boy.
She obviously had a lot of circle backs. She had a lot of interesting comments. She had a lot of lies and misinformation. But we're going to start with this one. She clearly has no answers and starts scrambling and maybe gets a little bit awkward. Check it out.
I did ask our team about this. You or someone else may have asked about this the other day, and I think I have something on it here. One moment.
It's even awkward in sign language.
I know.
Thanks for your patience.
I could-
Lots to say about COVID, no doubt about it. So, let's see. Let me talk to our team about it.
Do you know?
That is-
Do you know what this is?
I got sign language for that.
That is. That is every student presenting a last-minute
Yes.
presentation. There's information here.
For my thesis about COVID, dude, that's me when I read a book and I just didn't highlight it all, and I'm like, oh man,
What was
where's
the
that
one
one?
part?
So I read in this book,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh yeah.
Or they call on you, John, will you read the next paragraph? And you're like, uh-huh.
Yeah. What page were we on? Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, I couldn't really hear. You want me to read?
Oh, that's happened to me every time.
They don't call on me and Steven. According to them, we don't know how to read.
Exactly.
Steven, you read? Where's the book?
Sorry, all the books have been burned.
Yes.
Nobody can read
Yes.
anymore.
Oh my gosh, there was this black hole, and they just mystified it.
Books too. Yes.
Oh,
Today's featured
My
guest, the
cheeks
black
hurt.
hole.
This next one here is here's
Terrible.
a day in the life of a White House intern.
Hey Jenny, I booked you a nail appointment, love.
Yeah, I didn't tell you to do that.
It's called Initiative. Hi. Is Olivia Rodrigo still here?
No. We've come a long way in our fight against this virus. We've vaccinated 160 million Americans. Are you getting this all down?
Don't worry, Queen. It's all right here.
Cooper.
Sorry, Miss Jen. And Jen, don't forget to have fun.
That was one of the most cringe elements that I've ever seen when it comes to coming from the White House. That was absolutely ridiculous. And everyone, even people on the left was like, what is this? It didn't make any sense. It was ridiculous, over the top. We didn't like it.
That's better than anything SNL's put out over the past like 4
This
or 5
is also
years.
true. This is also true.
And that's what's funny. She now talks about COVID in that video. I would love to see her to be like, yeah, so, get ready for that COVID briefing later. What page is that on? Intern, you put the binder together. You tell me. Where is it? Oh. This next one, too. It just keeps getting better.
A little bird told me that you said you might be retiring and resigning the job this year. Say it isn't so. Is it true?
I don't know when I'm leaving. This is an honor and a privilege, and I love working for President Biden. President Biden.
Oh, peppermint.
It's so
candy.
cringy.
This is that Dave Chappelle.
Every time.
Gotcha. I can't finish it on the live, but you know what I'm talking about.
What I'm saying. Oh,
It's cringy every time.
That's every time.
It just makes you like.
Because
we know what you meant.
We know.
Yeah, we know.
She was a
You
deputy.
can't unsay that.
She was a deputy press secretary in 2009 for Obama, but still no excuse here because it feels like President Biden's had those slips. You've had VP Harris have those slips.
Exactly.
Basically, everybody I feel like wants Obama back.
Obama is
back.
He's just up here.
Maybe they're still actually working for him, and then President Biden's the puppeteer. Yeah, or he's the puppet.
He's a puppet, yeah.
Obama's the puppeteer.
That's true.
A lot of tinfoil hat stuff.
Yeah,
today.
It's like you got a sock puppet that has more cognitive ability than President.
And then one of Joe Bob's favorites is when Press Secretary Jen Psaki talked about kickboxing and margaritas. Check it out.
My advice to everyone out there who's frustrated, sad, angry, pissed off, feel those emotions, go to a kickboxing class, have a margarita, do whatever you need to do this weekend, and then wake up on Monday morning, we got to keep fighting.
That's what. Okay, she needs to have a show with Peter Ducey, a debate show, and then she needs to have a kickboxing class.
Yeah.
That's just played on the weekends on MSNBC, where they just slam margaritas and then just kickbox.
I would actually like to be in that kind of class. It'd be fun to watch people that are slush just going.
Be fantastic.
If she's in there, I don't know how many
circle kickbacks. Oh man,
I like it.
And then clearly, circle back has been her greatest phrase while being the press secretary for the White House over these last few godly, horribly terrible times. Check out these circle back moments.
I'll circle back if there's more I can share with you. But I'll circle back with you if there's more to convey. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back with. I'm happy to circle back with you. I can circle back. I will have to circle back on that one. That's an excellent question, but we'll circle back. I'm happy to circle back, but I'll have to circle back with you on it. It's a good question, but we'll circle back with you on this today. We will certainly circle back with you more directly. I often note I'm going to circle back. I hate to disappoint conservative Twitter, but I am going to circle back on a number of things.
Because I ain't no
Conservative
circle back girl.
Twitter.
I ain't no circle back girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I like that.
Cheers to that.
I'm definitely gonna
That's
miss
gonna
it.
get stuck in my head now. Mm-hmm.
That's my. I just stopped singing. I didn't say nothing.
And here's another show idea, MSNBC, called Circle Back.
Yes.
Where we actually go back to the things that you didn't know about, and you actually give us clear answers and not just fake news and real deal reporting.
Sponsored by John Root. That one was free. The next one will cost you.
But yeah, sayonara, Jen Psaki. Is there anything you guys want to say to her while she heads off into
Not at all.
MSNBC?
And the fact that she's going to MSNBC, I mean, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from what she was doing already, putting out a bunch of nonsense and peddling lies. So I'm not surprised that she found a home at, what did you call it, the misinformation?
BC. Sometimes I'm reading the teleprompter to get in the show. I'm like, that just came to my mind. I'll say it.
That was a stroke of genius.
That was fantastic.
Misinformation BC, I almost lost. I was like, don't say nothing.
All right, we're going to take a break and hear a message from our friends at Patriot Mobile. Then we'll be right back talking about Indoctrination Nation.
Here we go.
Yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47.
Abortion, I salute you! Women, if you need an abortion, get
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on to the next generation. Activate freedom. Join Patriot Mobile.
Welcome back to TPUSA Live. Once again, we're at TPUSA HQ in Phoenix, Arizona. We got MAGA Hulk Stephen Davis, MAGA Queen Paige Rue.
I think MAGA Queen is taken, right?
Is it?
I'll just be me because I'm awesome. I couldn't come up with anything on the spot, you guys.
I feel like that was the most legally blonde thing you've ever said. Hi, it's Paige. It's me, and I'm awesome. Gucci. Guns.
I feel personally attacked right now.
And of course, we have TPUSA Ambassador Anthony Watson. I'm John Root. So let's talk about Indoctrination Nation while Paige tries to not cry.
I have overactive tear ducts, you guys.
Are you sad that Jen Psaki's leaving?
Oh no, happy tears.
Definitely happy tears.
My cheeks hurt, my eyes are watering.
Well, something like this will definitely make you emotional and definitely not cry happy tears. So Johns Hopkins literally just hired a defender of pedophilia. So Alan Walker was a former educator at Old Dominion University, and he was placed on leave November 16th because there was some negative backlash for the video that we're about to show you. Check it out.
A lot of people, when they hear the term pedophile, they automatically assume that it means a sex offender. And that isn't true, and it leads to a lot of misconceptions about attractions toward minors. I've definitely heard the idea that you brought up, though, that the use of the term minor attracted person suggests that it's okay to be attracted to children. But using a term that communicates who someone is attracted to doesn't indicate anything about the morality of that attraction.
No, it's completely moral to be an adult and just want to take advantage of a little
Those
kid.
people need to go in the black hole. That is the type of people.
Thank you. Shout out to the black hole.
Yeah.
So
That
I need
is
to
it.
hide your kids and hide your wife.
I
and
remember
hide
that,
everybody.
yes.
Okay,
That
first
is
of all,
it.
I can't take anyone seriously that sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
True.
Truth.
So what
True.
we're really saying is it's just not like anything like that. I'm just like, look, it's nasty. That's all it is. And
That
you
is.
nasty. I was like, cue black hole.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about it on the show before, so MAPS, minor attracted persons, they're basically trying to manipulate language and try to tell you, this is just their attraction. This is just part of their lifestyle, so you just need to accept it. This is pedophilia. This is indoctrinating people to believe that this is some sort of lifestyle that we just need to accept. And what, that's going to be a part of the new LGBTQ alphabet? What are they going to start adding, Matt? LGBTQIA,
It is disgusting. It is dark. Oh my gosh, it just boils my blood, these types of people.
So
Do not target children.
And so his job at Johns Hopkins, who you think of Johns Hopkins, I know you brought up Step Brothers.
That was the first thing I thought of, you guys. He went to Johns Hopkins. Is that enough for you?
And then now I feel like we had looked at Johns Hopkins at any time there was like a peer-reviewed study from there or something in the medical field. We're like, yeah, Johns Hopkins.
Yeah,
Like, sounds
yeah.
pretty legit.
Yeah.
And then they hire someone like Alan Walker, who's going to be joining their Child Sexual Abuse Prevention Center.
Wait,
This guy
wait.
who tries to back pedophilia is now going to be a part of a Child Sexual Abuse Prevention Center. What's going to happen when there's actually an adult that takes advantage of a kid, sexually assaults, sexually abuses?
Well, you know what, John?
and
They're
then
going
he's
to take
like,
that
"Well,
man, they're going to sit him down in a room, and they're going to talk about his feelings. They want to know what in the world is going on with you. Tell me and explain to me why you feel this way. And maybe we can find a solution. Because even though it's not right, it's not wrong for you to feel that. I'm getting so sick even saying that. Oh, God.
What did he do at Old Dominion again?
So the video that we just showed you right
Yeah.
there, so he was a professor there.
But what do you know what he taught?
Yeah, what was his
I actually do not know.
Sorry, I'm just curious, like, his.
We're gonna check that out.
The crossover, you know.
What the cross? Yeah.
Mhm.
What was it?
So he's
Criminology.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wow.
Our team in the
So
back is
where
telling us about that.
I like want to have understanding for, so that we're not just, I don't know, I try to see the whole picture and know everything so that I can judge accordingly. And wondering what his, what his profession is or his area of study could be, something with minors or understanding. I don't know what it is. I didn't finish college, so whatever, guys. You don't need a degree to shoot guns. So, but moving from criminology to that, what is John Hopkins thinking, and what value is he going to bring that they decided to hire him?
Well, now there's once again, a manipulation of language, and now there's a manipulation of laws, and we're no longer a land of law and order, where it's just there's riots in the streets where people are burning down small businesses. Just let them do it. They're letting off steam. This is for social justice. We'll look at this decades later and say, wow, that really made a huge difference. You're hearing that from the left. And then here you have someone for criminology. They're like, no, we shouldn't be criminalizing these people that have this attraction. It's disgusting. And then trying to phrase it in such a way that, is fairly effective marketing, I guess, for John Hopkins to say, this is not really a morality issue. This is just a sexual preference issue. And the fact that people are starting to buy into that, it's just, frankly, shows the depravity of our country right now.
And people are taking advantage of their authority and manipulating people who are ignorant to those topics. And by ignorant, I used to think that word was nasty and demeaning, but you are, a lot of people are ignorant to firearms because it's overwhelming, and I am here to make sure that you're not ignorant, because I do not want to use my authority to manipulate you. Same thing with this situation. They are using their authority and manipulating people in schools. They want to, right? A lot of people just want to pass their class. They're afraid that they're going to fail if they don't please their instructor, and so they're completely manipulating and pushing their agenda on.
Well, get a load of this one. Maryland Elementary School is telling kids they need to pledge allegiance to the pride flag. I'm sure Transportation Secretary Pete Bootyflakes, his husband, is really loving this. An elementary school parent-teacher association invited students to record pledging allegiance to the pride flag, according to this Facebook post to the school's TPA page. So it looks like it's saying that they wanted the pledge in order to show their allegiance to the LGBTQIA plus alphabet mafia community, to be a defender of sexual equity. So you see that love, respect, freedom, tolerance, equality, and pride. Kids will have to celebrate all those things, and they're going to be showing that flag there.
Well, you're gonna be taught one of two things. You're going to either be taught to show allegiance to that which is good, that which is fantastic about this country, that which is morally upright, or you're going to be taught to pledge allegiance to that which is debased and that which is ugly and that which is disgusting, despicable, and unnatural. And there's only two choices, and you see which way the education system is going when it comes to kids and what they're trying to teach our kids and children. So this is something we've been saying for quite some time. You need to pull your kids out of public school. Okay, pull your kids out of public school, put them in a charter school, put them in homeschool them. There's any number of things you got to do, because at the end of the day, they're trying to indoctrinate your children to this type of ideology, and it's very destructive to say that, hey, don't pay attention to your country, don't pledge allegiance to your country, pledge allegiance to this daggone flag, that little picture of a flag that will put up with rainbows and that's been distorted.
And what's so
It's
sad
frustrating.
too, I mean, exactly what you said, where there's only two options. And it's not, it's this attack, right and left, right and left. And yeah, they're pushing that there are only two options, but you have to pick this one option. Now, we're in a free country, just like how a lot of us feel about the vaccine. A lot of us feel, absolutely, explore your sexuality as long as you are not targeting children. Freaking come after you. However, explore those things, but school is not the place to learn that. And let someone make their own decision if they have their own beliefs. Like, take the information and learn that decision. Do not shove it down their throat and, yes, indoctrinate them. That's what I want to get back to a country where it's just you go to school to learn, to be a good person, and then you can choose what area of your life, what you decide to believe politically, culturally, things like that.
But even when it comes to the flag, there's two fundamental things that people are forgetting. By taking allegiance to something like the pride flag and in that kind of lifestyle, it's forever adapting because there's always a new group of offended people that are trying to be fit into it, which then causes it to change, which is why you're seeing such an influx of all this extremism. But when it comes to the American flag, when you take allegiance to that, you take allegiance, one, to the land that God gave us as individuals, which makes it, and those statutes haven't changed. They haven't. From the time it was made until now, we all live under it as individuals seeking opportunity. That's what being an American is. All of this other stuff literally is, like you guys said, it's divisive. It's do this and then forever be somebody that always has to prove your allegiance so that you're not considered an enemy, as opposed to someone that is just like, take allegiance here and live your life and respect the people that want to live theirs.
Yes,
Do you mind putting that flag back up there too? We'll show you the representation of, so you have love, respect, freedom, tolerance, equality, and pride. And this is the flag that they want you to pledge allegiance to.
Well, I love my country. I respect my fellow man. I love my freedom. I am tolerant to those I disagree with. I treat everyone equally, and I am proud to be an American.
But what's interesting though is,
that
if you're
was
like,
incredible.
That was great.
is,
Give me
you know what
goosebumps.
represents, freedom, equality, is the American flag.
That's it.
Exactly.
So, but the American flag, it's once again, it's a deconstructionism of this whole nation.
Yes.
So if they don't want you to pledge allegiance to the flag, you got to pledge allegiance to pride, and then what's next? I guarantee you, if you had somebody come in, this parent-teacher association, said, we're going to start pledge allegiance to the Christian flag here. People would.
Do you remember the Christian flag Pledge of Allegiance?
Oh yeah. Always.
Oh,
Always.
that was
like, I went to private school.
Yeah, so did I.
For parts of my
you
life.
had to do that, and then you had to do the other one. But I mean, like, even
That's
just
privilege, you
studying
guys.
the history of the American flag to know what it means. The stars, each state that's represented.
Yes.
The red flags is the blood that was shed, and then the 13 stripes for the original colonies that was founded in.
Yeah. Hardiness and valor for red, and then white symbolizes purity and innocence. Blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice.
Who doesn't
It's
want to salute that?
Why do you need a new flag? And then no wonder kids are identifying as bisexual more now than ever before. It's like, let people just decide for themselves. And that's where I feel like the left is constantly saying, like, oh yeah, well, we're just opening up their worldview because this is an option now. It's like, that's literally seems like it's always been an option. But now you're indoctrinating these kids to start thinking that sexually, and then they're going to start just diving into this bisexuality.
I
and then
couldn't imagine being a parent right now. Seriously, hats off to all of you parents out there, because I can't even imagine. I have a lot of friends who are able to text their teachers, are able to go into their, they now choose very wisely of what schools, whether that's private school or I know a lot of moms who are homeschooling now. Hats off to you, because on top of that you have to work, and now you're trying to make sure that your kids are raised like decent human beings and making the choices that they want to make based on the information that they're gathering, rather than having an adult talk about that it's okay for an adult to be sexually attracted to a minor. That is absolutely disgusting, and just has to.
Well, I have no doubt in my
I can't
mind
imagine
that
doing
you would
right
make
now.
an amazing mother. I'd be too afraid if I was a teacher with opposing views,
That
knowing you
little
were a
two-way
parent.
daddy.
Like, excuse me, sorry, I had to come off of the range to hear that you're trying to teach little Johnny that 2 + 2 is gay. It's just like,
What'd you say?
like seriously, like teach me. Let me take these off.
Oh God, here comes the Gucci gun gal. Put the flag away. With it. Stop pledging allegiance. Stop. Hear her voice. She's here. It's a
guys.
crazy world we live in, but I think you'll definitely be a great mother, just like you guys will be great dads.
Come on.
You guys are going to be awesome.
You
But
too.
Shout out. Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you very much. Can't wait for Johnny Jr.
Johnny Jr. Oh my gosh, he's gonna be sitting right here.
Big shoes to fill, buddy. All right, we're going to get you pumped up for the Student Action Summit. We'll give you a discount code for that, and then get into wokeness in America. Stick around.
Calling all based patriots, meme lords, and conservatives, Student Action Summit is happening 2022, Tampa, Florida, July 22nd through the 24th. You don't want to miss it. You'll make lifelong friends, you'll probably meet your soulmate, and you'll be able to network with the biggest names in the conservative movement. Sign up now on TPUSA.com.
Welcome back to TPUSA Live. Once again, we're at TPUSA HQ in Phoenix, Arizona. We got Gun Gal Gucci, Paige Rue, and we got MAGA host Stephen Davis. We got Anthony Watson,
I'm just
TPUSA
Anthony.
ambassador.
And you got Anthony. And you've got
and Anthony's
host
here.
of everything amazing from Turning Point USA Live headquarters here in Phoenix, Arizona, John Rue.
Hey! Wow, that was hype.
That was fantastic.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, we're making sure we're having a good show before we take a little break. Get ready for some of those big events. But one of those big events is the Student Action Summit. If you don't have tickets already for that, if you're not registered, you can go to tpusa.com/SAS. Use promo code PAGE, use promo code Hulk, use promo code John, and this guy's
Promo code Black Hole. Promo code Black Hole. Seriously, going to suck all the discounts up.
Events team, get on it. All right, so we're going to talk about wokeness in America, but before we get to that, so there's some breaking news from the New York Post. They say due to Elon Musk's possible hold on the purchase of Twitter, because it sounds like Elon Musk is kind of looking into some of this disinformation stuff, deactivated accounts, and everything. Rapper Snoop Dogg said he wants to buy Twitter for shizzle.
What?
Snoop Dizzle's wanting to buy Twizzle?
Could you imagine it changes?
Yeah, to Twizzle.
Shizzle, welcome to Twizzle.
Oh, I like it.
Who?
What in the world?
I bet you if Snoop Dogg does buy Twizzle, it's going to have a bird with a reefer coming up out of it.
With some shades.
With some shades.
Yo, what's up?
What up?
The next episode. Starring Snoop Dogg, D-O-double-G. That was one of my favorite prop bets in the Super Bowl. Sometimes they have prop bets like, so it's something that's not really along with what's going on the field. It's just something random like, what's the color Gatorade bath going to be?
Oh, God, those bets.
they had one is Snoop Dogg going to smoke weed on stage for the halftime performance.
Did he?
He did,
Yeah.
didn't he?
And he did.
Well,
So he
there
did it
you
like
have it.
he did it like while he was walking up.
Oh,
So-
did they count that?
I think there's some like betting apps that honored that, but there's other ones that were just like, no,
doesn't
that
count.
wasn't on
Doesn't
stage.
It doesn't count.
Half effort.
But let's
Yeah.
talk about wokeness in America. So woke example number one, it's an absolutely insane world we live in right now. Obviously, there's different cults, there's different religions that people want you to be a part of. Even what we just talked about with the pride flag. That's becoming a new religion for elementary schools, for certain communities. And there's a woke pastor that's calling for support of abortion, which is clearly unbiblical. You know your boy's about to go off on this one
Let's
here.
go.
But Mike Kinman, he's part of All Saints Church Pasadena, and he's working with Planned Parenthood. A pastor is working with Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics, and he told his staff that they need to put a poster that says abortion is health care. So I guess murder is health care. Clearly, I don't think he reads the same Bible that we do.
Well, before we start getting into this segment, let's just clarify that this is not a pastor.
Yes, exactly.
Any
It's an
pastor,
activist.
any Christian
Yeah.
with conviction of things that are sacred, holy, and with a healthy reverence for God will not agree to any of that.
You know what we call these people? Pinos. Pastor in name
Only. Let's go.
Boom. Let's check out this video.
I
of
thought
this
you were going to
crazy
say they
man.
were Pinot Noirs, a very formidable formal wine.
Grigio.
Grigio.
Check out this video.
When that brief leaked, we knew there was more we could do. And so we contacted our dear friend and partner, Juliana Serrano at Planned Parenthood of Pasadena and San Gabriel Valley, which is on the front lines of this battle, and asked, what can we put on a banner that would most help for a church to say at this moment? And Juliana responded immediately, and she said, abortion is health care. That's it. It's that simple.
You know, I'm not sure why anyone is shocked or surprised, because when COVID hit, that was the chance for the church to really take a stand and stand up in their liberated freedom as the church, separated from church and state, not really following government, to take a stand for what the things of God were. Because before it got this bad, remember all those churches that had BLM, Black Lives Matter, like all over their pamphlets, and all these churches taking stances and fights in that, when really nobody wants to see a life ended like that. But as Christians, we understand that that wasn't just brought on. Those are choices that an individual made that ended them in that position that inevitably went wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody's teaching right or wrong because it's uncomfortable. That was the whole message of Jesus when he was alive. And the reason nobody liked him is because truth, regardless of how you take it, it always cuts to the issue. It doesn't beat around the bush. It always goes straight through all the nonsense, the excuses, the lies of everything else, and it actually touches the heart of the individual. We don't teach that nowadays because now we've accepted the fact that everyone wants to be wrapped up in what they feel rather than what they are. And so...
Well, that's what people do with the Bible now, too. Like
Exactly.
People read the Bible just like this Pino right here, this pastor in name only. He's going to read the Bible and he's going to be like, well, you know, how do you feel about that? I don't care how you feel about it. What does it actually say?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, sure, like, I know there's probably times where, like, people, you might be young in your faith, or you might be in a Bible study or something like that, and you read a passage and you're like, all right, well, that's interesting. Here's how I think about it. And you're totally missing the context.
Right.
At all, because language is totally different.
But the Bible isn't a la carte, you know? Most people like to pick and choose what they like from it to identify as Christian, but a Christian isn't an identity. It's the identity of letting go of yourself to take on the likeness of Christ through what he's doing in your personal life, through what you're learning, and it should show. And it's really not these days, so...
This is again what I talked about someone using their authority and you know, taking advantage and manipulating someone for their own personal gain. I mean, I enjoy what you guys are saying because I personally, like, even working for Turning Point, I've learned so much about Christianity, whether that's an option for me or not. But I didn't grow up in the church or learning the Bible, and I'm actually doing that now. But exactly what you said, thank you.
Let's go.
I'm
go, baby.
trying
I will
to-
drink water.
You know, say cheers to that.
Get her a Gucci Bible.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta warn the brother.
I'm sorry, baby.
She's with it.
They probably would give you a Gucci bound leather one.
Yes,
though, you know?
indeed.
That's your Bible?
Okay.
No, it's Gucci.
Gucci. But yeah, and also something that I you know, I have amazing parents and amazing role models is being uncomfortable with, you know, with right or wrong and learning that and learning truth. And it's not just about feelings, it's about growing as an individual.
Yes.
And that's exactly why I'm looking into this. Like, I grew up very like, what's it called? Like knowing like numbers and universal signs and things like that. That's something
Kind of
that
more like agnostic.
yeah, and that's what I grew up. And so now I'm like, well, you know, I want to understand this. I want to, you know, I want to understand it, but I'm not just reading it like a lot of people do of, oh, quote, yeah, I'm going to take that and learn that or, you know, twist it so that it helps me in those words. I want to actually learn and understand to grow as a person.
Right.
So.
Well, the Bible clearly says that if you're a Christian, they will know you by your fruit. Because everyone has gifts of the Spirit. There are people that are gifted with generosity and all these other things, but the fruits of the Spirit are the things that you actually produce. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and the last one that we don't really see much of these days, self-control. You know, in circumstances when you find all of those, yourself in all of those things, those are the responses that you have. And everyone always likes to paint Jesus as two images, the extreme hippie that just prances around with his flower crown and lets everyone do whatever they want without saying anything, or the extreme judge that just has no tolerance for anyone that's struggling. It's just like, no, Jesus can touch the heart of anybody that's struggling because he created you, so he knows how to get your attention. You know, and the more time you spend with him, it shows because you're different than what people remember you as. That's the difference. Right. So kudos to you, girl.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I love that. Yeah. I love hearing things like that. And then I know during this time with Roe v. Wade opinion draft leaked and everything, I wrote a live feed article about what the Bible says about abortion.
I read that. I was such a fan, bro.
Thank you. Man, you're the ultimate hype man.
I am. I'm a John Root fan, boy.
But it's a confusing time. And I know this is definitely a time where it's like, well, what's your foundation? Like, and if you're going to have a pastor, in name only, once again, going to say, you know, our justification for all this is going to be Planned Parenthood. Not like, hey, let's look at Scripture and how is that going to inform our politics, our lifestyles, our decisions. No, we worked with Planned Parenthood, and they're telling you this. I don't care. Planned Parenthood's not going to save you.
No. And Planned Parenthood's job is to actually kill you. So,
yeah, exactly.
So they're not in the business of saving anybody.
Couple more things, too. We'll just work right through this one. So, actor from Jurassic Park, from Succession. You ever heard of James Cromwell?
No, but I have heard of Chris Pratt.
And I don't know why there's this trend of people trying to glue themselves.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that in sports. Why are all these people trying to glue themselves to basketball rims and courts and everything else?
So there were some protesters in Minnesota because one of their top dogs, one of their presidents, was working for this poultry farm.
Okay.
Where they ended up having to kill a bunch of chickens, and they're like basically PETA fanatics. And this one chick tried gluing her hand to the floor during the game.
Yeah.
And then now James Cromwell super glued himself to a Starbucks counter over vegan milk. That's what he did. So here's a little video. Check it out.
When will you stop charging us more for vegan milk? When will you stop raking in huge profits while customers, animals, and the environment suffer? When will you stop penalizing people for their ethnicity or their morals? The senseless upcharge hurts animals.
I also don't know why. It's
Starbucks. When are you going to stop being racist with your
I
milk?
I want to know when he was done and he goes, okay, can someone unglue me? Like how
help me out here, please?
awkward and unimpactful that is.
Yeah.
You know how bad it hurts to have like a Band-Aid ripped off?
Absolutely.
At times?
I'm pretty sure you super glued yourself together just like momentarily. You're like, ah!
I remember that
Mom.
and you're like,
Mom.
So when I played football in high school, I don't know, the helmets that we had, I would always like hit, and then it would hit the bridge of my nose and move down. So I basically had like a gash here all the time, and I'd super glue my nose. And I remember getting that on my hands or something like that, and it was just like...
Doesn't super glue always having those like very microscopic wording on there, not to put on open flesh or like dangerous or hazardous?
Well, we put something over that first, and then we super glue it. Okay? But I know there's times where I was like, okay, my hand's like stuck together.
Yeah.
And if I had enough of that, just like James Cromwell, it's like, this is just gonna rip your skin off. Like,
Yeah.
what are you
pretty
actually
much.
proving here? So, but
The
also
virtue
too,
signaling.
I am definitely a fan of the sippy cup. I know it's been kind of a debate right now. They're like the sippy cup or the straw for Starbucks.
I have to have a straw. I have to. Regardless of where I'm at. I mean, I've got a cup down here. I have to drink out of a straw. I feel like I just drink it faster, and I don't want to wreck up my makeup or my lipstick, and I don't also like the ice on my teeth.
Well, that's a good argument for women that wear makeup. I don't do that.
What about your beard though? Your beard, doesn't it get all? You're like perfectly groomed.
Wow.
Won't it?
Wow, goodness. Yes, the last one before we go off.
Seriously.
No, I feel like I just like that little, just sip lip. That's what I like calling it.
I wouldn't know. I've never had coffee. I've never tried it before in my adult life ever.
I've only had it a couple times.
I'm big on tea, but I mean like even then I'm just like the like that kind of thing. You want to know? It makes a black man look less dangerous when you're standing outside holding a drink and you just go.
That's true.
Has that saved the ocean though? I'm curious. And I don't mean to be like sarcastic or mean about that,
No.
but like
No, it has like zero effect, literally.
So why is he super gluing his hand to Starbucks if Starbucks is creating this thing trying to get rid of straws to save the ocean and save animals, and he's still arguing he still doesn't like Starbucks because of vegan milk?
Upcharge is vegan milk.
Upcharge of vegan milk.
They're never happy, you guys. They're never happy.
We were provided cows for a reason by the good Lord. All right?
Steak, milk, and cheese, baby.
Have some milk. Obviously, treat the cows well. And listen to the Chick-fil-A cows.
First world problems.
I think they should have something to say about this.
Man, I'm all about that.
But speaking of this little debate, Elon Musk had a tweet about this whole thing. Check it out. All right, so stop the war on straws. Not me latching on my cold brew. Yeah, those kind of things I'm not a fan of.
Is that a nipple?
Oh my
basically what it
gosh.
looks like. But we're going to take a quick break and talk about TPUSA careers. Obviously, we're hiring like crazy. This place is growing. We have some amazing people. And then we're going to sit down with Dylan Erickson. He's a talent acquisition administrator. But check this out. and maybe you could join our team.
With a presence on more than 2,000 campuses, 1 billion views on social media, and consistently hosting the largest and most talked about events in the conservative movement, Turning Point USA is crushing it. And we want you.
Being face-to-face with speakers at conferences and being able to ask them questions, you just never think that you have that opportunity.
We have such a strong family environment. We really can't do any project or accomplish any goal without teamwork.
I actually attended our Student Action Summit 2017 as a student and was so intrigued by the energy that was brought to these events.
You're gonna be tested, you're gonna be challenged, but ultimately, you're gonna love working for Turning Point.
There are exciting opportunities with our field team, events, marketing, digital media, productions, fundraising, and more. If you consider yourself to have a warrior spirit, grassroots humility, and persistent innovation, you'll fit right in. To apply for any of our openings, go to tpusa.com/careers. Big government sucks, but your career shouldn't have to.
Welcome back to TPUSA Live. We got time for one last thing. We got a new dude on the couch, Dylan Erickson. What up?
Hey,
we got Matt Gold, Stephen Davis, Paige Rue,
I feel
Anthony Watson. I'm John Root. What do you got?
Numbered.
But so protected. Actually, I feel safer with you on the couch.
I like that. Next to MAGA Hulk, seriously?
Well, his guns don't fire as fast as yours.
Misfire, I guess.
That's true.
Thanks a lot.
But Dylan, tell us a little bit more about working at TPUSA HQ, because we're hiring like crazy. We're growing like crazy. There's so many different options. You can join the live team here. You got productions. You got people in events.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting bigger and better. What's going on?
It's crazy. We have almost 100 active positions right now on our career board. It's blowing up like crazy. Even in the last year that I've worked here, I think it was about 225 full-time employees. When I came on last July, we'll be at over 300 at the end of this hiring cycle in August. So it just kind of shows, how quickly we're growing, and things are always changing. It's very entrepreneurial here. Things are always moving, shifting. It's a great place to work, and there's no place like it. It's Turning Point's the best.
Dude, it's the mecca of young conservatism.
Come on.
That's what I always say.
Come on.
Hopefully that's not like sacrilege.
No, and I will say this, every single Turning Point employee looks like they could be like a TikTok viral sensation. Look at his hair.
Perfectly
It's part of the job requirement.
Are you guys hiring TikTokers?
I think that kind of falls under your area, maybe media on their personality.
TikTokers, hit us up. I'll send you to Dylan. But you guys have an emphasis right now on the National Field Program. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we're hiring people all over the country. Specifically, we're launching our new high school field program this year. So we've had the college one in the past, and they've helped with high school, but now we're hiring 24 reps across the country. So no matter where you're at, we'll probably have a job near you, coming to you. So 24 of those across the country. We're hiring in almost every single department right now, though. So 100 total positions. So no matter where your skill set is, we probably have a job for you.
We're doing it.
What makes people valuable when they reach out to you? Because I know there's definitely a lot of young people that are like, I want to do big things for the conservative movement. I love Charlie. I love Turning Point. But what sets people apart to get these jobs?
Yeah, definitely. I think it just matters the department. Every department's looking for a different person, and we have about 14 departments. We actually just launched 7 new departments this year alone.
Wow.
Again, just growing like crazy. So we do need those people to kind of back up that growth, and that's what we're looking for. The process is competitive. I would just say to people that have applied in the past, maybe keep applying. Just because you applied for one role and got turned down doesn't mean you don't belong here. It doesn't mean you can't have a job here. It just means that maybe wasn't the right opportunity for you. So like I said, 100 positions. There's probably a job for you. Just go online to tpusa.com/careers. You can see all the skill sets that we're looking for and apply from there.
So are you saying Turning Point's playing hard to get?
I would say so. I would like to think that.
And I feel like that's what I'm always trying to tell people. They call me to talk about the industry or anything like that, where it's like, you gotta keep working.
Yeah.
You gotta just keep knocking at that door, because it might not work out right off the bat. And I think it's tough to get denied at times. Or
and maybe maybe apply for, or maybe get a different position, learn Turning Point headquarters, and then maybe there's a completely different department that you love. I mean, even when I'm here, you know, I'm local to Phoenix, but even coming here, there's so many, like you said, so many different departments growing.
Yeah.
And I'm even learning about the departments. I'm like, gosh, that'd be fun to work for. That'd be cool.
Hey, I will say this. Before I became an ambassador, I applied for a position here, got rejected because I never heard from y'all. But I applied for I applied as an ambassador. And look at me, baby. I'm on the sofa. Dreams can happen. This is America.
But as we start wrapping up here, where can people apply?
Yeah, so you can go to tpusa.com/careers. You'll get a breakdown of every single department, every position. Like I said, almost 100 on the board right now. And there's like 14 different departments. So no matter what you're interested in, no matter what your skill set is, we have a job for you.
What are people forgetting the most, though? Like, are they just like, it's a weird formatting with their resumes, or they just like don't have enough references, or?
That's a great question. I mean, I do a lot of the phone screens, so I'm one of the first persons that people talk to. And I would say the biggest thing is we just want, you know, a normal person, just a person that's easy to talk to, that's relational, that's not trying to be somebody they're not. And sometimes people get on the phone and they try to be this person. You can kind of just, we can hear fake from a mile away for sure. So we're just looking for regular people.
What's it sound like?
What was that?
What's it sound like?
What's it sound like?
Let's just flip roles. I'm like, hello. Thank you for calling Turning Point Careers. How can I help you today?
I would just say the people are. You're putting me on the spot here. This wasn't on my cue card.
Yeah, I can definitely hear that fake. Get out of here.
That's your job. That's your job. I answered the phone.
Hi, so I voted for President Biden. Do you guys have any job openings? Like, boom, that's what Dylan does to you. But make sure you apply. A lot of big openings. But as we say goodbye to Dylan and we say goodbye as we head into the weekend, say goodbye for just a little bit while we get ready for these big events. We say goodbye to Press Secretary Jen Psaki.
Bye.
Let's circle back.
Please, just send her that way.
Well, I think it's probably good for us that we didn't have that audio.
It was a sign.
We don't need to hear any more Jen
But see,
Psaki.
her speaking with silence made more sense than when she actually had volume coming out of her mouth.
Truth? Lord have
Once
mercy.
again, we're gone for a little while. We'll see you when we get back. Have a great weekend.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard today's edition of Human Events Daily, powered by Turning Point USA. Today is May 13th, 2022. Anno Domini. Today's headlines. Vacation has been canceled for the Chicago Police Department after nearly 1,000, 1,000 cops quit last year. Second, the Biden administration canceling Alaskan oil and gas lease sales. Third, Rep. Kamek stating that illegal migrants apparently are receiving pallets of baby formula, but American people can't find them. And finally, Elon Musk's Twitter deal temporarily on hold over allegations of fraud. All of this and more ahead, Human Events Daily.
Every time you have a press conference, you say crime is down. The economy is booming.
Well, that's not true, but get your question, sir.
Across the street, we had a police officer on duty, the victim of a hit and run. We have Michigan Avenue, the magnificent miles now referred to as the Mile of Fear. The water tower place has thrown the keys back to the lender. They say they don't want to be in Chicago anymore.
Well, I disagree with you fundamentally. And I don't think I need to address any and dignify your comments 1 second further.
And folks, just wait till Memorial Day and our summer. It will be the summer of joy in Chicago.
Well, there's Mayor Lightfoot saying, don't worry about a thing. Crime is actually down, apparently. Crime is actually down according to our statistics that we made up based on what we want the headline to be, rather than what's actually happening on the ground in the streets of Chicago. Well, that's interesting because if crime is down, then why do I see headlines like this at Zero Hedge? Vacation canceled for Chicago PD after nearly 1,000 cops quit last year. Understand what's happening here. It's very simple. The defund the police movement has led to two things. Number one, the persecution of police in this country. People whose jobs is to enforce the law and then go out on a regular basis, go into the streets to fight crime, right? And then are demonized for it. They're criminalized. They know that one wrong move, and if you get caught on a deceptively edited viral video, that's the end of your job. It might even be the end of your freedom if some trumped up DA wants to throw you behind bars for doing your job or for following your standard protocol and standard issue, your SOP, standard procedures. Understand, this situation is going to lead to more crime. And it's very obvious what Mayor Lightfoot is doing here. She is what they call it, juking the stats, right? She's juking the stats, and she's making a situation where they're claiming crime is down because they're finding, they're classifying more things as crime, and then they say that comes down, or they change the definition of what's a crime and what isn't. They report it differently. It's very simple. But we can see what's going on in our cities. It's not just Chicago. It's across the country. And look at this. According to local ABC 7, CPD has increased staffing levels at times in recent years after especially high crime weekends, but typically canceling just one day off across ranks. According to the police department order, the upcoming holiday will require that officers work straight through their regularly scheduled days off. John Costanza, president of the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police, said, "The escape from this job and the tragic things we see on a daily basis, to be able to go on vacation or even just spend time with your family at a barbecue, it's a decompression time that is sorely needed." The notice comes as data reveals more officers left the Chicago Police Department than joined in 2019 and 2020, with 900 leaving last year versus just 51 who joined the force. This is the wages of the defund the police movement. You're going to get more crime. You're going to get more murder. You're going to get less cops who are more overworked, which means if you do end up having mistakes, if you do end up having issues, it's because the force is being stretched thin. And this ain't just going on in Chicago. It's across the country in every major city. And can you blame them, by the way? Can you blame them for leaving the force when they see mayors like this and they see DAs like that who are trying to go after you to make their career off of putting you behind bars for doing your job? So who loses out in this? It's obvious who loses out in this. It's the people who live in the cities. And that's why, look, I've said on this program, and I still stand by this, get out of cities. Just get out. The violence is completely... I saw a video from Philadelphia the other day, only about 10 miles from where my parents live, right down the street. There's a gas station, guy's going up, 30 years old, father, filling his car up with gas. Another car pulls up behind them at the gas station. Two guys pop out with guns, one with a handgun, one with, it's hard to tell in the video, but it looks almost like an AK-47, and just start open firing at the guy. Start open firing, guy goes down dead. They take his car. They killed him to take his car. Didn't need to, but it happened anyway. That's Philadelphia. And you can only imagine what the body count is going to be in Chicago this weekend. This is a horrific situation. Our cities are completely out of control. But don't worry, because we're sending $40 billion overseas.
First of all, we are looking at opportunities to make up for lost gas, LNG from Russia. We're underway of trying to see what we can do to do that, dealing with our friends around the world as well. We think we could make up a significant portion of it that would be lost.
And it happened again. The Biden administration has just canceled the sale, the lease, of a 1 million acre property of federal land in Alaska to be used for oil, gas, and energy exploration and drilling. This is the same administration, and Postmillennial has a story, that signed an executive order shortly after taking office directing the Department of the Interior to pause new oil and gas leasing on public lands and offshore waters concurrent with a comprehensive review on the federal oil and gas program. Furthermore, President Biden suggested on Monday that oil companies should be taxed on leases on federal land that they are not using to presently drill for oil. They're blaming oil companies for the rise in gas prices, which is ridiculous because it's very clear what's going on. And there's one thing that you'll never hear from the mainstream media. You'll never hear this from the Biden administration, but we'll tell you because this is how it works. So they'll come out and say, well, the issue is supply, right? The issue is these gas companies and they're gouging and they're raising the prices and they could be doing this for that. But no. Not what's happening. You're missing a key point here. And I was in Alaska last year and I went up there to Prudhoe Bay and I met the people that work on the rigs. I saw the oil rigs. But you know what I saw? I didn't see them drilling. They were sitting around. They were waiting to come online. I said, why aren't you online? Why aren't you guys working? Don't you want to? Say, we want to work. We want to get out there. But here's the problem. Even if you have a lease, you still need your environmental approval to go out there and actually start drilling. That's the key component that the Biden administration is not mentioning, right? You have to go through the EPA, and then you better believe that you're going to get sued by whatever green group is out there that's trying to stop you from doing what you're doing. If you want to talk about Russia, by the way, we've seen this in the reporting that Russian gas companies were funding green groups here in the United States and across the West. And that is in their interest, isn't it? Because they want Russian gas to be sold on the open market, the world market, at a higher rate. And they want to prevent the United States from coming online as an energy exporter like we were under the previous administrations. Basic supply and demand stuff. This is really, really simple. So if you're someone out there that doesn't like what you're seeing in Ukraine right now, which obviously we don't like what we're seeing in Ukraine, understand that the financing for that comes from the sale of oil and the sale of gas to Europe, and the fact that they're able to sell it at confiscatory rates. Well, if we've got a situation right here in Alaska where we can go and drill our own oil and drill our own gas in these lands, and look, I think Alaska's beautiful. Alaska has amazing natural parks, national parks. They have glaciers. They have mountains. It's incredible. But not all of Alaska looks like that. A lot of these areas that they're talking about, you're talking about muddy, oily, greasy, acres and acres of land that does not look like, something that would be in a nature documentary, right? It's tundra, essentially. And what's crazy to me, too, is that when we went up there last year, I'll never forget this, we're driving around and we see the pipelines, we see the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, and then as we're going, we see caribou. We see caribou and muskox just walking around the pipeline, grazing, having a good time. And I said, did you guys set this up? Did you guys know that Posobiec was going to be coming by and you've got them in like the back of a van or something and you're pushing them out saying, hey, let them see some of the animals. That'll be fun. Get the guy on the walkie-talkie or something. They said, no, they're out here all the time. I said, well, why? Because they like the warmth from the pipeline. It's actually something that they really enjoy because it's not so warm up here. Obviously, it's Alaska. Folks, Alaska is ours for the taking. Invade Alaska. Occupy Alaska. Don't worry about invading the rest of the world or getting involved in these foreign wars, the bloodlands of Eurasia. You don't need to be sending $40 billion over there. We could be making billions of dollars right here in our own country, in a little area called Alaska. And while we're at it, I wouldn't mind looking at Greenland as well.
Or it may be that you shop and you are seeing bare shelves and you are seeing signs that you are not able to get baby formula. And then you see the American government sending by the pallet thousands and thousands of containers of baby formula to the border. That would make my blood boil. And I am so angry about this, and I think every American should.
Crazy story from my friend, Congresswoman Kat Kamek, also a friend of Turning Point USA, of course, where she's gone down to, and I guess it's this border migrant processing facility near the U.S.-Mexico border. So we're all sitting around trying to figure out what's going on with the baby formula. and we're asking these questions. Why is it that we're sending $40 billion to the war machine as opposed to feeding our own children here in the United States? And Congresswoman Kamek has made an incredible discovery. She says, and she's got pictures of this, pallets upon pallets of baby formula at the Ursula Migrant Processing Center in McAllen, Texas, and she's posting it to her Facebook and her Twitter. And she's saying, what's going on? Why is this that we're sending baby formula to illegal migrants rather than making it available for the people here in our own country where we live? And here's the situation. I talked about this yesterday. Our government's job is to define what is good for the American people and then to act upon that basic measure of goodness. That's called the social contract. But the social contract becomes broken when your government exists to enrich the people who are in the government itself or their family members. Hi, Hunter Biden. So when you have this situation and you say, what's going on here? Why is this such a basic need, one of the most basic functions, right? Being able to feed your own children. It's an emergency, obviously. It's a crisis, of course. But it seems as though America's priorities are completely out of whack. So I saw an interesting tweet, by the way. Someone was talking about this, and then John Legend, of course, pops up and says, oh, I thought you guys were pro-life. You're pro-life, but you don't care about the illegal migrants coming across. To which I say, you have no idea what you're talking about, do you? So many of those kids that are coming across, they're being trafficked across by criminal cartels that are using them in many cases as drug mules to come across. They're getting paid to do that. You think the kids have any choice in what's going on, especially if they're an infant? It's ridiculous, obviously. But you don't seem to care about that. You have to actually understand the situation to dig into this stuff. Being pro-life doesn't mean you're stupid. But apparently John Legend doesn't, that's not really much of an issue for him. Because he wakes up and says, tweet away. The issue here is really simple. It's really, really simple. We care so much. Americans are the most generous people on the face of the planet. Study after study, report after report shows this. But resources in the world are finite. It's just a fact of the matter. That's reality. So how do we allocate these resources? Well, the government of the United States, it's as simple. You should exist for the betterment of the people in this country. What they're doing, though, is they're trying to be all things for all people. And here's the problem, specifically as relates to the border. You cannot have both open borders and a welfare state. You can really only do one or the other. Because if you have a welfare state, everybody's going to want to get in. And then you're going to go broke trying to be everything for everyone. But if you have open borders, what's going to happen? You're creating a false negative incentive structure. People are going to be flooding across, and then you've got outside groups that are also making money off of that. This NGO archipelago, as Dave Boyd talks about it, the corruption that goes in through there, the corruption of the border cartels that are bringing people across, trafficking children, trafficking women, but we don't care about it. And on top of all that, they're the ones that we're directing the baby formula to, not to the babies of the United States.
If in this case you are not successful in, the board does not accept your offer, you've said you won't go higher, is there a plan B?
There is.
I think we would like to hear a little bit about plan B.
For another time, I think.
Another time?
Yeah.
All right. That's a nice tease. All right. So,
So probably one of the biggest news stories you'll hear today. Elon Musk, and we've been talking about this individual for a long time. Is he going to buy Twitter? Will he follow through and restore freedom of speech to the public square? Because we've been talking about this. I've been talking about this idea of public squares for a while now. We talked about it all earlier this week when I was talking about Pizza Hut, right? They say, Pizza Hut, what does that have to do with Twitter? Go with me on this. Go with me on this. All of the places within the country, within the world, where we used to have those meaningful moments of community, whether they be at a pizza parlor or a video game arcade or a main street or a shopping mall back in the 80s and 90s, those are all online now. All of those places where you used to have that meaningful connection with people, they don't exist in the real world because we've been so atomized by, consumerism, by multinationals, by the internet, whether you want to call it the Great Reset. That's something really, I think the Great Reset is actually a symptom of the information age. And it's something that people are trying to do to exploit the information age rather than move us towards a more humanity first, people first approach. That's a different story. But the internet is here to stay as the new public square. And Twitter, for better or worse, is the public square in terms of the marketplace of ideas and the marketplace of freedom of speech. The problem is the company of Twitter.com, Twitter Inc., has destroyed freedom of speech, not just in the United States, but everywhere that Twitter operates. So what do? Elon Musk has said, let's take it private. Should we trust Elon? I don't know. A lot of ties to China, a lot of ties to the CCP. Can he get it done? I don't know. Lot of challenges in the way, a lot of roadblocks. Incredible vested interests want to prevent freedom of speech. Think of it, Twitter has done more in the last 5 or 6 years to destroy the credibility of the mainstream media than any other force on the planet. And of course, it's not Twitter itself, it's the people going on Twitter, right? But it's their ability through Twitter, Marshall McLuhan, remember the medium is the message, to go in and actually fight back. So what has Musk said? And this gets back to what Bannon was talking about just a couple of weeks ago. And Bannon took a lot of flack for saying this. We brought it up on the show. We gave both sides. Bannon said Twitter is overvalued. There's a lot of fraud there. There's fake bots, fake traffic, everything else. Now Elon Musk has come out and said, we are temporarily putting on hold the deal, pending details supporting calculation that spam or fake accounts do indeed represent less than 5% of users, Musk wrote. Now that's part of due diligence. But the question is, what will happen next? Because the stock, based on this news, is plummeting. So the question then becomes, will he pull the deal and then come back on a discount? The executives are being fired. We're starting to see people let go. But if it's any indication, we are in for more of a roller coaster, a lot more ups and downs before this deal is going through, and we have freedom of speech restored. And that is it for this week of Human Events Daily. This has been an incredible week for us. I want to let you guys know, I'm very sad to say that today, for those of you watching on the video, this will be the last day that you get to see the Communist Kiers mug. That's right. We're going to have a little bit of a different set when we come back. We're going to be on the road for a little bit of time here coming up. We've got a special operation that I can't really tell you guys about yet, but stay tuned because it's going to be very interesting. Going to make a little bit of news, but you'll see it when it comes out. So remember, our promise are with our solemn body, you be good, be brief, be gone. Your homework for us, share this out with just one of your normal friends and leave us your 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. What do we talk about today? Vacation canceled to Chicago PD after nearly 1,000 cops quit. The Biden administration canceling Alaska oil and gas leases. Rep. Kamek talking about illegal migrants receiving pallets of baby formula. And finally, Elon Musk potentially pulling the deal on Twitter. The deal is going to be on hold. But before we go, it's time for today's history break. You know, I was looking at this story today, and I realized that because I'm from the Philly area, I know about this, but not many people do. 1985, May 13th, that's today, the Move bombing. And here's how it's written up. The destruction by the Philadelphia Police Department on the orders of the mayor, Wilson B. Good, of a residential home occupied by the Move organization. Right? They were trying to serve warrants on this organization, couldn't get it done. What do? They dropped a bomb from a helicopter, burned down 53 homes, row homes, in the city of Philadelphia. Killed 6 adults, killed 5 children. Completely insane. And this is prior to Ruby Ridge, prior to Waco. This is some of the crazy stuff that was going on. But for some reason, people don't know about this story as well as they know the others. Understand, our history, we'll be doomed to repeat it. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you have my permission to lay ashore.
What if I told you that this has all happened before? The riots, violence, church burning, attacks on police, destruction of private property.
My name is Sammy Steigman. I am a Holocaust survivor.
This is the reality of what happens when you have capitalism that goes to socialism.
El socialismo no funciona. El socialismo no funciona.
Nostalgia everything is very in right now. I mean, the 90s and early 2000s are having a moment, which is why you need to make sure that you get a disposable camera and friendship bracelets on deck for Turning Point USA's Young Women's Leadership Summit, June 2nd through 4th in Dallas, Texas. This is the largest gathering in the country exclusively for young conservative women or older conservative women. I mean, we do sell adult tickets, so non-students are welcome. And our very first speaker drop was announced this week, which means there is still more to come. So far, look forward to seeing yours truly speak, but also cute conservatives you know and love like Candace Owens, Allie Stuckey, Kayleigh McEnany, Lila Rose, and more. Limited space is available and filling up by the minute as speakers are getting announced. Do not miss out on the best event of the year for women. Go to tpusa.com/YWLS and use code POPLITICS for 25% off. That's tpusa.com/YWLS with code POPLITICS for 25% off. Their imperfections have been the brunt of some of the darkest and meanest hate groups on the internet. Their family dysfunction has been tabloid fodder, and the haters have had so much influence over their lives that Child Protective Services have even been called in. When I say haters, I'm talking about thousands of trolls devoted to how much they hate them. They've been together forever and have had years of going through ups and downs and being in the public eye due to his famous sister and her family. You definitely know them. Jesse James and Eric Decker are their sister and brother-in-law. They are not your average influencers, not just because they're conservative, but because they have a totally unconventional approach to how they market products and how they show their lives to the world. Sometimes it rubs people the wrong way because they aren't this perfectly curated family, only posting themselves looking and feeling their best. They keep it real, and some may even say too real. I'm prepared to ask them about all of their controversies and rumors, including being characterized as bad parents, their public falling out with Jesse James Decker, whether they've ever cheated on one another, and what they actually have to say about some of the most outrageous accusations against them on the internet. This episode is piping pop culture hot tea. Please welcome Allie and John James to The Spillover. How would you explain to somebody who has never heard of Allie Green James or John James? I feel like you guys have so many names. How would you explain to somebody that doesn't know why you're famous or why people know who you are?
Are we famous?
Yeah. First off, I would say I wouldn't consider us famous by any means. I think the definition of fame is kind of skewed nowadays. Some people know of us, but I definitely wouldn't say we were famous. It's not like very often we're walking down the street in public and someone comes up and it's like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
But have you been written about in tabloids?
Yeah.
See, I would consider that to be some sort of level of fame.
Okay, fair enough, I suppose.
People definitely know who you are. You guys are also influencers. You're Instagram influencers. Like, you're posting what you're using, what you're doing, what your family's doing on a day-to-day basis. You have 2 kids, and how old are they, and what are their names?
Emerson is 26 months, and
we used to make fun of moms who would do that.
So she's 2?
So she's 2.
She's not. Oh, is she? No, she's not 2.5 yet. So, no, yeah, and then Callie is 9 months.
So, all right, I feel like it's important to kind of go back to when you guys first met? Because you've been together for a really long time. I followed you guys for years on social media. So, yes, like way before, I mean, a very long time.
We've been together since 2014.
Yeah.
So 8 years.
I feel like I've been following you guys for that long, just about.
I love that.
How did you guys meet? How old were you guys when you met? And then how old are you now?
I'll take this one.
Go on. Oh,
So,
no, I know what's coming.
I was coming home from college from the University of Hawaii, Maui, and I really wanted to meet a girl because I was lonely out there on the island. And so I went through a phase where I was on, what was it? Was it Tinder?
Yeah, he was on
I
Tinder.
was on Tinder.
We all
and,
were. Not me.
Really?
I have never been on Tinder in my life. I've never been on a single dating app.
Must be nice.
Allie's a keeper. I was on Tinder and I had met this one girl who I'd come to find. She was 17 and I was 19 at the time, so that was a no-no. So I told my buddy who was from Buffalo about it, and he was like, oh, well, I could set you up on a double date. And so he had a friend named Jessica, and Jessica was friends with Allie. And Jessica told Allie she had this guy that she wanted her to meet, and Allie almost didn't go. She didn't want to go. But she did.
I did. But the kicker is that I was also 17.
No way.
But she lied.
But I said that I was 18
She
because
lied.
it was that I couldn't be 17.
Yeah.
But my friend was like, I really think this guy is like good for you. And I was like, I'm so not into it. Like I had gone through a breakup and then like a random person. And then I was just like, I'm just not into it.
Well, how soon, after you guys met, when did you have to explain, John, like, okay, so you might know that I have famous family members? Like, because I feel like that's so weird.
Did I tell you day one?
How
do you tell
really
people
don't
that?
remember.
What happened was we were driving and we got in the car alone because the other two went into the store. And because we stopped at a gas station, and he was like, so like you might know so-and-so and this. And I was like, kind of confused. I was like, what? Because I didn't really know what he was talking about at first. And then he like told me, but we didn't really get into like super into detail with it.
I think it was more so with me when I would date girls back then, because there were weird situations. I would always want to, hopeful that they didn't know.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, you don't want to, date someone and it be for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely.
So I truly don't remember mentioning it, but if I did, it was probably my way of checking to make sure, okay, like this girl doesn't want to just go on a date with me because my sister's famous.
And I didn't even I didn't know anything about him before we met. So like it was totally blind.
It was.
He got in the car. He asked his friend, like, what does she look like? Is she cute? And his friend was like sitting in the back. So he's like, I don't know.
I was
he had
so
never
nervous.
met me. I had never met his friend and I picked him
I
up.
was so nervous. This is going to sound really messed up. I'm going to sound terrible saying this. But the date the night before was so bad. I told my buddy, I was like, if she gets in the car and she's ugly, I'm not getting in the car. Because I was mad about the night before.
Yeah, he said he was going to get out.
And so he's texting me and he's telling me I can't tell. And I'm like, okay.
I can't tell.
This isn't good. This isn't good. And then I got in the car, and when I saw Allie, I'm telling you, it was like love at first sight.
Oh.
I literally looked at my friend Matt and I was like, oh my God, like she's gorgeous. Like what? Because when someone tells you they can't tell, you're like, okay, he just doesn't want to say that because he doesn't want me not getting in the car.
Yeah.
But I saw Allie and I was like, oh my God.
Do you feel like you guys were instantly 0 to 60 very serious from the get-go, or was it like, oh, we're just friends, we're just talking, and then gradually it got serious over time? Because I just feel like you guys are so young to be married already and have 2 kids. Like, how old are you now?
I'm 25.
I'm
Okay.
27.
But you guys started dating when you were teenagers.
Yeah, 17 and 19.
Yeah.
So how soon did it get serious?
At first, I want to say like I didn't want it to be, right? Even though I really liked her. Like I was 19 and I had just started dating after not dating for a really long time in Hawaii. So like I kind of wanted to have fun, I guess. So I didn't want it to be super serious. And I felt like at first, as we like continued to get closer, I would try to push her away. Like I would make plans with her and then I would just like cancel the plans on her.
No, you were that guy?
I was terrible. Yeah.
He gave me the wrong number at first.
What?
And I don't even know if he did it on purpose.
I don't
was
either.
it? He doesn't
I
know
swear,
because
don't
he was
remember.
like, I had this phone number before. We've never gotten to the bottom of that. Like, did he give me
Yeah.
the wrong number on purpose? And I texted him because he was like, let's hang out tomorrow, like alone.
Yeah.
And that was after the first time we hung out. And so I was like, all right, give me your number and I'll text you. I texted him never answered. So I texted my friend and I was like, he didn't answer. And she was like, oh, like, did you get the right phone number? And she had his number and she was like, oh, that's not the right number. And I was like, all right, well, don't say anything because he clearly was trying to ghost, like, no, don't want to talk to this girl. So I was like, all right, he doesn't want to hang out. But then she like kind of forced us to hang out that night because she was like texting him, you need to text her. And then it happened. And
how soon into your all's relationship did you know, John, this is absolutely the woman I want to marry?
I think when you're a young man, you might like kind of flirt with the idea at first. So I think very early on, I thought that she was someone special. But then it's like, you go away for college and she's not there. And, very quickly, you're like, I want to just have fun and stuff. So I think whenever I was like, okay, this is for real, this is a forever thing, would be after Allie moved to Loras College, where I was going to go to college with me. And when Allie stayed with me, through me just kind of being a loser, to be honest with you.
Why? What do you categorize as you being a loser?
Dropping out of college, living in her dorm, and working at Dunkin' Donuts.
Why did you drop out?
I hated college. I couldn't help but feel like it was such a waste of time. And whether it's because there was some truth to that or I was just distracted, I just didn't love college. Learning, just such a huge scope of information that I felt like would never be relevant to my actual career was really hard. So many other kids do it, and kudos to them, but I just couldn't do it. I saw so much more value making donuts. Dunkin' Donuts.
Allie, did you feel like that? Were you feeling like unattracted to him in that period of his life when he was figuring things out? You didn't care?
Not at all, no. I think part of it was probably just because I was young. Like, I was just in my first year of college. Like, I just loved him so much. Like, I didn't really care. That was never like, I wanted to be successful one day. And, like, everybody wants to be successful one day. But it just was, like, so far in our future that I just was like, I just love him for him. Like, I don't care what he's doing. He's working. Like, it could be worse. He could be not working.
I was a total pothead at the time, too.
Oh, yeah, he was a total pothead, which wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
Which, it is what it is. Everybody does their own thing.
I mean, it's legal pretty much everywhere now.
Exactly. But for me at the time, it was just like, I wasn't into it. So it was like not something we could like share together. You know what I mean? It was like such a big part of his life because like that's what everybody's doing. And it was like nothing for me. Like,
so did you stop because she didn't like it?
No, I smoked for quite some time after that. I think I stopped maybe like a year prior to the pandemic or something, when things got serious, which I wasn't smoking every day before then, but around that time when I was like, okay, like, I don't know what this was. And when it first kind of started breaking, I knew that like health was the utmost priority. So I didn't want to be smoking anything,
Yeah, that's a good point. Allie, do you remember the first time that you met John's family?
I met his mom because she walked in on us.
No. Do you mean
no? We weren't. No. It was just like we were at his house and we went upstairs and legitimately we were not doing anything.
Well, that's not entirely
I think
true.
we were just kissing each other. No, I definitely. Okay, there's like some discrepancy. Someone says that I had a shirt off.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
I know I didn't have my shirt off.
You had just a bra on.
No, I was wearing a crop top. It was like super. It was like this.
You had a purple bra on. I promise.
That's
you.
not when I was wearing a purple
He's
bra.
like, it's burned into my memory because my mom walked in.
Well,
she was freaking out more than me.
Oh,
Allie was.
His mom walked in with a flashlight.
It's like 2:30 in the morning, Alex.
Okay, but here's the thing. Like, if you follow
2:30.
John and Allie, like, every member of their family. Like, this is just the thing. Your all's entire family is, on social media and very public, whatever. So, like, everyone knows your mom is Mama Karen.
Yeah.
And so, she seems to me, like, as someone who doesn't know her actually in real life, she seems like a cool mom. Like, she would be like the Mean Girls mom in my head, like, oh, you guys, let me know if you need anything.
No, it definitely wasn't.
What was her reaction?
No, she said that I needed to leave right away.
Yeah.
To him.
No.
She was like, she needs to leave right now.
now.
But it wasn't mean at all. She was just
In
like,
front of you?
Yeah, she was like, she needs to leave right now. And I was like mortified.
Oh
and
my
so we
gosh.
walked downstairs and I'm like, oh my God, is everything going to be okay? Like, I'm thinking his mom is never going to let him see me again. And so I was like, okay, well, that's it. But then he was like, no, it's fine. Just go. So I left. We ended up hanging out. I think he got like grounded. Like, he wasn't really grounded. He just wasn't allowed to hang out for like a second. But then he was like, oh, I want to hang out with her. So I went over like a couple days after and met his mom in real life.
So what did you say after?
She was just like, nice to meet you again. Like,
Nice
we
to
made
meet
a
you with a
joke
shirt
about
on
it.
or something.
Okay, so you just moved on.
Yeah, we made a joke about it. It wasn't, she was never mean about it at all. It was just kind of like, she needs to go. Obviously, she's a mom. She's like, what is this girl doing in my son's bed?
Right.
Out. But she was nice about it. We just made a joke about it. And I think that when I met her, I think your sister was there. So I think that's when I met like some
Sydney
of
or
your
Jess?
family. Jessica.
I don't remember her being
Because we had ravioli. Your mom made me that ravioli and everyone was
Cracking
grilling me while I
jokes
was
at you.
sitting there because I was the only one eating.
there. Was it just Jess or was Sydney there?
No, it was just Jess and Vivi.
Okay.
So it was like, then they left. Like, they were only there for a couple days. I don't know. I didn't meet Sydney until Christmas.
Okay.
So that was in July, and then I didn't meet rest of his family until Christmas because I spent Christmas with them.
Right. Okay, and so you have, which I love that you share, you have a sister with Down syndrome.
I do.
Was it a big deal for you to invite John over to meet her? And were you nervous? Like, is she going to like him? Is she not going to like him?
Sarah loves everyone usually. She definitely like treated John like a brother though.
Immediately?
Yeah, like right off the bat, which she doesn't get like that. So that was really special to me. I would say it was more like my mom, meeting my mom, because I lived with my mom at the time. So yeah, she was just like meeting my sister and my mom, and it's always a big deal when somebody comes to meet your family.
Yeah, every single time. Do you think with each other's families that you guys immediately hit it off? Or were there any weird vibes besides his mom walking in on you from the start?
So at first, once I found out that Allie was 17 and I told my mom that she was 17, my mom was like, no. She was like, jailbait, no. Which I know in some states, like a 2 years difference, it's not a big deal at all.
But in what state were you guys living in?
We were in New York.
We were in New York. I don't actually know what the rule was.
I think it's like the Romeo and Juliet. Like, as long as you're within 3 years, it doesn't matter if one's over the age of 18. That's what I looked into when I was trying to justify us dating.
Oh my gosh.
But my mom was like, no, like when she found out, she was 17. But then my mom loved Allie.
After she
my
met
mom
me.
loved
Yeah.
Allie.
I don't know how
really
anyone
did.
couldn't. Like, and we'll get into that, just the massive amount of online hate that you guys get, because I don't get it. Like I said, I have been following you guys for so long and immediately liked you guys, felt like you guys were so real, so genuine. You don't seem to put on these weird fake influencer vibes that I feel like a lot of people do. So I don't really understand the whole cloud of hate, which, yeah, we'll get into that. But like, when did you guys decide, hey, we can make a serious living off of influencing, which I hate that word, but like influencing, posting, affiliate links, all of this stuff. And how did you decide to go ahead and pursue that?
So I think that when I was in my first year of college, I got asked to like share a shirt. Like, someone was going to send me a shirt for free and I was going to post it.
Yeah.
And I was like so excited, obviously. You're like, oh my God, I'm getting something for free. And this was like way back when. So it wasn't like, influencing wasn't even really what it is now. Like, people weren't doing that on Instagram. And after that, I started to get a couple more like trade type things. And then I had an agency reach out to me and ask me to do $75, give me $75 for a post. I think it was for like Teamy or something. And I was like, oh my God, yes, like this is so cool. Or you know what? It was like a nutrition shake or something. Like, I don't even think they're around anymore.
Was
but,
it orange logo?
Yeah,
What was
310, 310.
310 Nutrition.
Yes.
I think they're around still.
Maybe they are. I haven't seen them in
They're around.
forever.
I
But
haven't either.
yeah, so I did that. And I don't know, it starts once you have like an agent reach out to you, especially. And once you have an agency like reach out to you, they'll kind of just start to bring you more deals. And that can happen from whether you're like represented by an agency or if, it's just like a bunch of different kind of PR agencies like reaching out. They'll keep you on a list. So they'll keep sending you stuff. And I honestly don't know when it was like a full transition. I used to do eyelash extensions. Like,
I remember that.
Yeah.
When you guys lived in Nashville, right?
Yeah. While I was doing the Instagram stuff. John did like some deals, but you really like took it somewhere when we opened Strong and Sexy Fit.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. there are a lot of people that don't understand. It seems like you guys are really living this high roller life, and they think you guys are just rolling in money, and they don't understand where it comes from. So could you speak to that?
We definitely don't live a high roller life.
Yeah, like we're by no means like we're not multimillionaires.
No.
You know what I mean? We're not. Yeah, we
There are people who do that from influencing, but
nice house and car, but we saved for those things.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, our primary source of income is Strong and Sexy Fit now.
Yeah, and that's your all's business that you have now.
Yeah, which
started as
thank
ebooks.
God we do, since Allie got canceled from doing posts.
So I
but
just don't do
yeah, it
anything
started
anymore.
off as ebooks in 2017, just fitness programs, and then obviously evolved into a supplement company, which is what it is today. But yeah, that's our primary source of income. Like I said, I'm not going to get into specifics, but we're by no means, multi-millionaires.
Yeah, you got to remember, we rented a house forever. We were in the Nashville market. Like, our house went up like $100,000
Right.
in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody in the Nashville market's like trying to sell their house right now. I mean, everyone in America, but especially the Nashville market. So, we had one car forever. Like, we drove one vehicle. So we saved a lot of money.
Are you guys both savers, or one of you more of a spender than the other?
My spending's probably a little bit more sporadic than Allie's, but Allie's is more consistent. I did this the other day to Allie. I told Allie if she could go 30 days without ordering a package to the house, I would give her $10,000 in cash.
Oh my gosh.
I turned it down.
She turned it down.
Immediately. I was like,
down.
no.
She said no.
This is not worth it to me.
Yeah.
My boyfriend calls my apartment the FedEx store because I have so many packages coming in and out too.
all bad.
So I get it. I totally get it.
She's so desensitized to it at this point. Like, she doesn't even open them,
Okay, that is not true. I've got kids. I've got stuff going on. So if packages sit at the door for a couple of days, it's like I'll get to it when I have a chance, because I really want to relish in the moment of my new item that I've got.
Do you guys care about who has more Instagram followers or, more Instagram story viewers or anything like that? Do you get competitive about your followings?
With each other?
Yeah.
Oh, Allie's engagement is definitely better. Well, considering how many more followers you have, it's not.
But that's not, okay, but you got deleted
I
by
have
Instagram.
a couple times. Allie has as
I
well.
have too.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not really competitive between us.
There's sometimes healthy competition, when we were both around each other, but then I blew past him, and it's like,
now it's not even
left
fair.
you in the trenches.
Loop giveaways.
Loop giveaways. Those are becoming really unpopular now.
Yeah.
people
They're
don't
saying
do that.
her Instagram hates it, and they hurt your engagement if you participate in those now.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that it really hurts you, because I've definitely done some, I think I did one recently. I mean, one didn't hurt me. I think that it got mostly unpopular because it was constant. It was every single person that you were clicking. They had multiple going on at once.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is too much. And so I really, I was doing them for a while, but definitely never like some of these girls were doing it. And I finally was like, I'm done. So if one of my friends asks me to do one every now and again because they need another person, I'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll jump in, whatever. But I definitely don't.
I know that you guys were really young when you got together, but had either of you had, any semblance of a more serious relationship before each other? Or were you guys each other's first big love?
We both had major
I think we
relationships
both had a
before.
big relationship before.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. I was in a 2-year relationship in high school. I've always had girlfriends. I've never been much of one to be single. I liked having a girlfriend always.
All right, so I had to go on this deep dive of the internet. To read and look at all of this stuff that people have accused you of, allege against you guys. And honestly, you would think that you guys were in a mob family, the way they talk about, all your alleged crimes, which I don't understand. So I went through and I have found pretty much, I think, most of every single big allegation, rumor, things that people want to know about you guys, have accused you guys of. So I'm just going to go through this and ask you guys about all of this. And this is your chance really to speak to all of these haters that have talked crap about you, honestly, and troll your family. So one of the first things is, and this is not necessarily an accusation, but just an observation that people don't like. They say that your all's house is too messy. They are aggravated that as influencers, you guys don't curate your posts enough, that you guys aren't super well put together all the time, hair, makeup, perfect outfits. Your kids aren't, always perfect looking every single time they see you. Is that fair for people to criticize you guys of that?
Those people are living in a fantasy world because nobody's house, especially with children, house is put together all the time. Does no one live in that house? Your house is going to look like somebody lives in it. I mean, my kids, from the second they wake up, they're getting breakfast, food all over the place. Yeah. Toys are getting ripped out again. I'm not going to get ready every day. Like, I have no reason to get ready every day. If I, am leaving the house or I have something going on, yeah, I'm going to hair, makeup, whatever.
I'm the same way. I do not put makeup on or anything. If I have a few days off, I'll go out, I'll run errands, everything, and I put my hair in a messy bun because look how we have to do so much hair and makeup every single day when I'm on camera. I enjoy that when I don't have to do it.
I also, I am not going to paint this picture that this is this perfect life. A curated feed, I've tried to do a curated feed before. I end up hating it. It's so time consuming.
Yeah.
People who have this just perfect put together Instagram life, they are pre-recording their things. They're not getting ready every day. They just show you clips from only when they're ready. And some people do that and that's their brand, but that's not my brand. My brand is that I'm literally just a mom who works from home and my house is a mess. Sorry, yeah, I clean it up, but it's not going to stay clean for very long.
Does it bother you, John, when people say that you guys are messy or a dirty family?
I'd say with all the other accusations, that is one that's just
pales in comparison.
Yeah, okay, you got me. I'm messy. My house isn't always the cleanest. I'm not posting a story of me in the backyard cutting my grass after, you know what I mean? I don't care. I find people who do very composed stories and post on Instagram. It is so cringy to me.
It's nauseating to me too.
It is so cringy to be you care this much. Not to say you shouldn't take care of yourself, obviously, but who are you really doing it for at that point? It's a little extra.
Also, are you really going to tell somebody that they don't take care of themselves or their house? Are you in my house every day, all day? No. You see, even if I had 100 clips or 99, because that's the max that they'll let you do, you get 15 seconds of that. That's less than, I can't do the math on the spot, but that is less than 15, 20 minutes a day.
What was the first big scandal that happened where you guys realized, okay, wow, there are a lot of people online that hate us?
First thing. God, there's been so many. Alex, you're gonna think I'm sounding dramatic.
Family drama.
Was the family drama the stuff that really kicked it off? There was the Becca thing with the shaving.
What's the Becca thing with the shaving?
This is so funny to me too. This is so ironic now. If I get in trouble for saying this, you can just cut it. But there was this girl. What was she on? The Bachelor or something?
Yeah.
She doesn't shave.
Rika
Martinez.
I didn't know who she was.
Yes.
Didn't know who she was, but I saw a post, which I was unaware at the time that we had the scope of influence we did. Because when I did these stories, I didn't include her face or anything. It was a clip of her leg.
When I tell you, if this was her leg, it was this much. You couldn't, but you want to know why everyone knew it was her? Because she doesn't shave, and everybody knows that.
I know exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Anyone that is a fan of Bachelor Nation, you know that Becca Martinez girl, because I talked about her on Politics. I cannot stand, my most hated Bachelor Nation people for me are Rachel Lindsay, the Becca Martinez girl, and then, oh gosh, who's the other person? Shoot, I'm blanking. But anyway, recently in a Politics episode, I had discussed this. And she is this, she's very left-leaning, your stereotypical feminist type that is very proud to not shave at all. She is full arms out, you could braid her armpit hair type of girl.
And so I saw that, and I saw that this was she posted or said something in some major news article, did a post about this is the epitome of feminism, and she's a hero for this. And you know what? Maybe I didn't have a good reason to be bothered by it, but it bothered me because I was like, this is pathetic.
Right.
That this is where we're setting the scope of achievements. You didn't shave your legs. You're a hero. You're a feminist. Congrats. So all I did is did a post of her leg, and I said, I'm sorry, but you're not a hero for this. This isn't a representation of female empowerment. This to me, honestly, is laziness. Okay.
Ooh, that's good.
And maybe I was wrong in saying that.
Nah, I don't think you were.
Well, you know what? She like found it, tagged me in her stories, freaked out.
She definitely like is the one that
Took
was
the nth degree.
Yeah, it was like a whole thing then, and you know how that is. It is like a cult. So they will latch on to you, attack you, and they will never leave.
Started ripping us apart, and I actually, sometime after the fact, apologized to her, messaged her and said sorry, to which she accepted my apology. And then I want to say last year, this is the same human being that comes out and says that while she's having sex, she likes to breastfeed.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, there you go.
Right.
These are the type of people.
Well,
these are the types of people.
Okay, so just to paint an example of how bad it was when that happened, I was pregnant with Emmy at the time. And I was like 6 months pregnant, and her like fans were saying that they hope I miscarried my child. They wanted my child to die because John said that she had hairy legs and doesn't shave.
It's deranged.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And I told her that. I was like, honestly, I hope that you know that this, because you wanted to start something about this, this is what this led to. Your little people are saying that they want my child to miscarry. And it wasn't like one or two people. It was like the masses, like hundreds of DMs from these people. And she was just like, well, that's not my, like, she basically just said, that's not my fault. Well, it is.
Sorry.
Okay. Like,
sorry.
So that was probably like a big drama.
Maybe it was of my own doing. I don't think it warranted the response that we got, but yeah, it was definitely immature of me to make the comments, and probably out of place, but I was just so perplexed because we were kind of in the beginning of this massive leftist movement.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of just like culture shock to me. I'm like, this is where we are, which nowadays, God forbid, I would never address anything like that. But back then it was just like, what is this? You know?
Yeah.
Do you guys read the stuff that people post about yourselves?
So in 2020, spring of 2020, I made a commitment to myself, like, to stop checking our hate pages. I was like, you cannot do this anymore, because it was taking up so much of my time, and I was a new mom, and I was like, this is so unhealthy. Like, when you're a new mom, you're like, well, after you have a baby at all, you're so fragile. You like are unsure of yourself. You like don't know if you're doing everything right. And, you know, I was definitely having like some postpartum anxiety, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the looking at the things that people would say about us just made it even worse. And that's not to say that they don't still, you know, climb into our DMs and like send us specific things that they'll say. But I just immediately hit the block button now because they're literally not worth my time.
We are so block happy now.
Yeah, I don't
same.
I don't care. If you message something that is even passive aggressive towards me,
Bye.
Okay, goodbye. And 9 out of 10 times you look at that passive aggressive message and you scroll up, they've been doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
It's obsession.
For years.
Yeah.
It is. It's very odd.
One theory that people have is that one or both of you guys have made fake accounts before to comment on different threads online to defend yourselves from attackers. What is the truth?
I don't think we've ever.
I would put that on anything. It's like that Justin Bieber song, I live my life right by the source.
I live my life from the source.
I don't need to hear your perspective on things that are untrue.
No,
like, I don't need to hear it.
That's kind of how we feel about it. We're like, we know because like we are living our life in first person, you saying all these things about me online isn't going to make them true. And it's not going to make me stop to have to defend something that's not true. So I can't ever recall a time where I've made a fake account to engage. I might have like looked at things, but I'm not engaging with these people.
You guys have actually had CPS called on you multiple times. What the heck was that about?
So twice.
Twice is how many times they showed up to the house, Allie. I'm sure they've been called 5+ times. I'm sure they've been called 5+ times.
Maybe.
But
I mean,
showed up to the house
from
twice.
what I know, they were required if a report comes in, they're required to check on it. So
but why was CPS even called? Why were there reports made? What were they alleging against you about your children?
So the first time was on Easter, Emmy was wearing like a bunny outfit. And when your child is, this is getting a little graphic, but when your child is having blowouts in their diaper, you have to size up one. So even if it's not their real diaper size, you have to go up a size. So she was wearing a diaper that was one size too big. And so the way that the photo was, and I can show you this photo, it was like her suit, it was a onesie. So the diaper was kind of like looked puffy because it was a bigger diaper. Granted, I'm sure she had peed in it because that's what babies do. But we posted a photo and they were immediately we were like getting comments like, her diaper is too full. You need to change her diapers. Poor baby. Like all this stuff. So we didn't think anything of it at the time. We were just like deleting the comments like, oh yeah, okay, her diaper, whatever. So then a couple days later, CPS came to our house and was like, we had a report that a child is sitting in dirty diapers. So immediately it was like a light bulb went off and I was like, what?
And is being left unattended on countertops?
No, that was the second time. So John actually, this was right when the pandemic started. John was at the grocery store standing in line to get groceries and formula. Like, we're trying to get stuff for our family because we have no idea what we're in for. And I get this knock on my door, no idea, a woman with a clipboard and a badge. She says that she's from Child Protective Services. She's coming to check on a child who's been sitting in dirty diapers. And I start sobbing like off the bat because I'm like so confused. And like I said, I'm a new mom. Like, so I'm just like, what did I do wrong? Immediately questioning everything. But when I realized that it was like a dirty diaper thing and I went back to that Instagram, I was like, this is what it is. I pulled up the Instagram photo. I showed her our hate pages. My mom's an attorney, so I called my mom immediately because I was like, I don't know how to handle this. She wanted to see where my child slept, look in my fridge, see my child and have to take a photo of her. It was so invasive. I was like shaking and it caused so many problems. Like just everything I was doing from that point on, I was like, we need to be careful. Like, I don't want somebody to call about this. I don't want somebody to do this. Like, I was just on a 12 and people would be like, you need to relax. You're doing nothing wrong. And so the second time it was around Christmas. I actually think it was the day before Emmy's first birthday. They said that they needed to check on a child who had a bump on their head because she was left unattended and fell either from a counter or I want to say it involved the Christmas tree in some way. It was like she was climbing the Christmas tree and fell. I think that's what it was. It was so stupid that I was like, Like, I was like, we've already done this. Like, you can't come in. I'm sorry, this isn't against you personally, but I'm not doing this.
You can tell someone from CPS who's come to check on your kids, they're not allowed in?
No, they don't have a warrant to come into your home.
Oh.
So the first time I didn't know that, and obviously I'm like scared. I'm like, I think they need to come in and stuff. Second time I was like, I'm not doing this with you guys. Like, this is so ridiculous that this is from random people on the internet. And I know people were like trying to speculate and be like, it was somebody who knows you. Guys, this was random people on the internet.
It was 100%
yeah, like it was random people on the internet.
It was not.
So, I mean, they know that. We've like worked on pressing charges and stuff. So.
How did that feel, just knowing that these random people were able to send a woman to your house, accuse you of child abuse? Why even post any more of your kids at that point? Because I feel like I'd be like, I'm done.
Infuriating. You have no idea. Like, as a man especially, you know, who's supposed to like protect his family from things of that nature. It's like we live in this digital age where people aren't held accountable for online harassment, because that is full-blown harassment. Mm-hmm. And it's not someone I can go and confront. It's not something that I can even prove who it is. So I felt powerless, and it was so incredibly infuriating, because mind you, we're in the midst of dealing with that after having a fallout with our family, trying to navigate, becoming parents entirely by ourselves. And to add insult to injury, we're also having to deal with harassment on a scope that people really can't imagine. Mm-hmm. You might look from the outside and, we get messages when we talk about it being like, that's horrible. But like, I'll give you an example. My brand signed an ambassador. And within a day of her signing with us, she started getting harassed. She broke down. Like, it was so hard for her. She broke down and reached out to us and was like crying, was like, I don't think I can do this. They're threatening to come to the gym that I work out at, to that degree. And I felt so bad for her, and I felt so much compassion for her. But I was thinking to myself, this girl has no idea. This girl has no idea what it's like living on a day-to-day basis, where I see people outside the house, and one of my first thoughts is like, is this Child Protective Service? Or someone's driving down the road and they're looking at us while we're outside a little too intensely. I'm like, okay, like, who is this? we're low key a little bit paranoid all the time.
I would be too.
Definitely
You know?
paranoid. I mean, the reason that we continue to share our kids is because why are you going to let people who are just trying to bring you down like do just that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is my family, this is my life. For me to, I know some people don't share their kids, but like, for me, that's silly. Like, I'm with them every day. I'm obviously going to share them.
Are you scared that one day your daughters are gonna be old enough to be like, Mom, why did CPS come and check on us, and that you're gonna have to explain all this?
Not at all. All of this has truly, Alex, it has made us so much closer as a family unit. Like, that's the God's honest truth. We've been through so much together. You know, we've been put through the ringer that no, I'm open to having that conversation with Emerson or Callahan one day, you know, when they're old enough to understand what we went through, and explain to them that we were never bullied into submission. And I genuinely think that's a big part of the amount of trolling that we receive is like, we don't give up. We're not going to be bullied into submission, and we're not going to be silenced. We're not going to not share our family, our views, you know, or different beliefs that we have because people disagree with them and want to, you know, do things. So no, it really has brought us so much closer.
And, you know, this is funny because my mom actually, I guess, and I didn't know this until I had Child Protective Services come to my house because it was just something that my mom was like, oh, this happened to me.
What?
Yeah, I grabbed my mom's curling iron when I was 2, I think I was 2, and had a burn. And so my mom immediately took me to the doctor, obviously. Well, it was required that if there was a burn or like there was certain requirements, the doctor had to report it for a child checkup. So they came to my house. My mom was like, obviously it was like the most uncomfortable thing. She was really able to like empathize with me and like what I went through. But yeah, like I didn't know about it. Am I like, oh my God, Mom, am I like judge you ever? No, like
yeah.
I know people whose kid have grabbed their curling iron. Like, thank God, that's something that I'm always so scared about.
Yeah.
There are two types of people in this world, those that like their eggs cooked on a clean pan and those that like their eggs cooked in bacon grease. Your mouth is already watering, I know it. Personally, I'm a bacon grease egg kind of gal, and lately I have been obsessed with bacon from Moink. That's Moo plus Oink. They're a meat subscription company that gets their fresh, sustainably sourced meat and fish from small farms all across America. You customize your box that gets shipped right to your door, and one thing they do that is super unique is they send your meat with this gorgeous magazine with recipes and ideas that you can do with your Moink box. It's like Bacon Vogue. I love to see it, and I know you will too. Get access to the highest quality meat on earth and keep America farming by signing up at moinkbox.com/spillover now, and cute conservatives will get free filet mignon for a year, but only for a limited time. That's MOINK box.com/spillover. That's moinkbox.com/spillover.
Has it ever crossed your mind that maybe could it be, you know, one of your estranged family members that's participating in these hate threads online? Or are you like, no way, they would never do that at least. It's definitely strangers.
I know it's not them because I know when a lot of it was going down, they thought it was me doing it.
About yourself?
About
No.
everybody. You know, when like the fallout first happened between us and then, you know, the different pages and whatnot came up, there was like a conversation I had with Sydney, I think, after not talking to her for quite some time.
And Sydney there's 3 siblings.
Yeah.
There's Jesse is the oldest.
Yep.
And then is it Sydney and then you?
Yeah. And I had a conversation with Sydney and she was like, why are you saying these things on there? And I'm like, dude, you remember this being like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
I
Like,
remember.
they're saying terrible things about us. Why would I be creating the terrible things? Like it,
Yeah.
you know, so I genuinely don't think that they would, like, despite, you know, having some disagreements, it's evil. Those things are evil.
Yeah.
There's a difference between doing things that are mean or out of jealousy or, you know, anger, but those things are evil.
I'm telling you right now, I mean, and I am reading celebrity gossip pages and I'm reading Twitter fandoms and all. I'm doing this stuff all day long. This is my job, is to know this stuff. I have never seen a darker place on the internet than the message boards and groups and whatever dedicated to hating you two. It is so vile. I genuinely started feeling physically ill reading it to prepare for this podcast. I told one of my producers, I said, guys, this is so bad. And I'm just an outsider like reading it. I cannot imagine being you guys some days.
I have had people tell me that they have left groups and gone to therapy because it made them turn into such a dark person, not even like just in the groups, but like in their outside life. Like
You're kidding.
They were in the groups and afterwards they felt like they needed therapy because of it, and they have gone to therapy. And that's not just one person, it's not just two people. I can think of 3 specific different conversations, but I know it's happened more than that. And it's sad. That's part of the reason why I committed to myself, like, you will not go on any of these pages or anything. Like, you will not look into this stuff, because just like you said, like, it is the darkest place on the internet. It really is. You couldn't convince me. You could not convince me.
I mean, Alex,
Definitely.
we had crap mailed to our house less than 10 days ago. Animal
poop
crap.
mailed to our house.
You're joking me.
Nope.
Dead
to our
serious in a
house.
Ziploc bag.
And you know what I have to
disgusting.
do, Alex? Laugh.
Yeah,
'Cause
we
you
just
know, you want to
laugh.
know
You're like,
something?
okay.
What else can I do? Look into whether or not we can sue them. Okay, well, the U.S. government already has an open lawsuit against the company that's doing this.
Yeah, it
You
says
know.
that
I'm
they're
sorry,
like
what?
subpoenaing everything.
There's a company sending literal to people's houses?
came
yes.
to our house, yep.
It's called, I think it's called like poop senders.
But whose poop is it?
It's actually animal poop.
Okay.
They can pick different animal poop. And I mean, who knows if that's actually what it is. We obviously didn't open the Ziploc bag that it came in. But yeah, we like looked into it. And they already have like an open case with the U.S. government. And they're like
We had
subpoenaing all the
that.
purchases and everything. So
The week before that, within 2 days, we had Domino's pizzas at our house.
twice. That
Twice.
was like for delivery pay at the door.
Yep.
No, that's super scary, because you know how I would take that? People think, oh, that's just nice. Somebody's treating you to pizza. No, to me, I see that
That's
as a
a
very
threat.
passive aggressive threat. I know where you live. That's how I would.
That's
take it.
100% what it is.
Yeah.
You know, that's 100% what it is, which it's not as aggressive, but Alex, it makes
I hope
me
you
so
guys
mad
have
thinking
loads of
about it.
firearms.
Oh,
we do.
I paused and didn't say what I was gonna say, but that's exactly what I was
Good.
thinking. Come to my
Good.
house. Come to
Yeah.
my house.
I'm
Come
gonna
to my
say,
house,
like,
please.
you do not strike me, John, in any way, shape, or form as like a beta soy boy type. Like, I wouldn't want to F with you guys. I'm just saying, like,
John
So
is
that's
like
good.
another level of okay, obviously not to like the troll stuff. He honestly could care less about that. But if there's like a direct situation, he is like another level of protective.
Good.
I mean, it's a great quality to have. It's very attractive.
I think that people, see me put on wigs and troll my trolls and think that like I wouldn't take it to that place if something happened. But like I promise you I would. Don't let the wigs fool you.
some of the other
Don't let
things.
the wigs fool you.
All right, so I want to try to go through these as quick as possible. All right, so for some reason, this is some kind of point of contention with you guys. Do you have someone who cleans your house? I don't know why
Yeah,
this
we
is.
have a housekeeper that comes once a
Okay,
week.
I don't know why this is controversial. I don't
I'm
understand.
pretty sure I
it.
say that like all the time.
Okay, that's what I thought. Allie, you once described yourself on Instagram as unempathetic. Did you actually mean that?
Unempathetic in the sense that I like if like, okay, if John is upset about something, sometimes I just like don't. What is the word? What do you always say to me?
I think this isn't the context of this is in regard to people who would say like mean and aggressive things towards us or you. And rather than you feeling bad for them or being like, it's okay because they're going through a hard time, you weren't empathetic towards them. I think that's what the context of this is regarding. And I agree with that. When people are rude and mean and aggressive towards you, like,
Yeah.
do you say, oh, well, it's okay because.
And I'm definitely a tough love kind of person.
Yeah.
Like if something's going on in your life that you can actively change because you can make a choice to change something, but you're just complaining about it, I'm just not like, poor you, I'm not going to sulk with you. Like,
Right.
I'm like, let's fix the situation. So I think that's what it was.
Okay. Did you guys ever fire your housekeeper for using your forks?
Did we fire them? I don't think we did.
We never did fire them.
No, they just
Nope.
used our forks. Well, here's what happened. They sat down randomly. They never do this, and had lunch and like used our bowls and our forks and everything.
Didn't wash
and like
any of them.
Oh, that I would fire
and
them
everything
too.
was like in the sink.
But
if you didn't
genuinely, we
wash it, I
didn't
wouldn't
fire
care.
them.
Well, I
Yeah.
wouldn't care. First of all, if someone's cleaning my house or whatever, I don't care what you do. Use my toilet, use if you make yourself lunch, whatever. But then you're there to clean, so don't leave a mess.
That and like I'm just a little bit weird. Like no one comes into my house to use any of my like eating utensils. that
Allie's
my
a
personal
germaphobe.
family is
People
using.
don't know that about
I
Allie.
am. Well,
Allie's a
I said
germaphobe.
it, but like I don't like wet floors. Really gross me out. Like public restrooms. I took Emmy to the restroom at the soccer field the other day, and I said to her, Emmy, this is disgusting. Do you actually want to go potty in here? And she said, no, it's disgusting.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it was so
I was
cute.
like, it's okay. We can go at home. And so she was like, okay. So yeah, I just, no.
People have also accused you guys of abusing or neglecting your dogs. So
All the freaking time. It's so ridiculous.
What's up with that?
Okay, we have two children that eat food, human food. Dogs can't eat human food. It's not always good for them. So when the children are eating, we'll put the dogs in their crate. This is a custom crate. This crate cost about $2,000 in 2017, which is like $65,000 in present day
True.
money. Okay.
And with President Biden, yeah, it
Exactly.
is $65,000 now.
So in addition to that, dogs are crate trained. They look at their crate as their home. They like being in there. It's how they become potty trained. You know, they're den animals. They like being in their crate. So yes, occasionally our dogs are in a crate, and because of that, we're abusive.
And because they don't like that Charlie has shaggy, like, homeless dog fur, but that's because that is Charlie's fur. Like, I'm sorry, but Charlie, not beautifully put together like Blue. Fur is not meant for that.
Have either of you ever cheated on the other?
John's cheated on me.
In college, I cheated on Allie. It's not an excuse at all. But again, like,
it's so long ago. It's like we were
alcohol involved, weed involved. I at that point didn't think that I was gonna be with Allie forever. When I did cheat on Allie, I told her immediately. It wasn't kept it a secret, and she told out. I called her and told her immediately. Doesn't justify it. I would never condone cheating in any fashion. But yes, that did happen in college.
Was it hard for you to get over that with him and trust him again, or no, it took a while, or it was easy?
You know, I went in 2 relationships with, like, being cheated on a lot, and I think with John, I was trying to figure out if it was going to be like a cycle, like, is this going to be a recurring thing? But it wasn't. And I just knew that, like, the fact that he told me right away, and it definitely took, like, building trust up again. But granted, we were, like, so early in our dating, and he was away at college, like 1,000 miles away. Like, we kind of thought it was going to be a spring fling or a summer fling, and it wasn't. So it was hard at the time, but, like, God, I would never in a million years worry about this man stepping out on me. Like,
he seems pretty obsessed with you to me.
Not even on my mind.
So it's not an excuse for any of it, though. Like, nothing that you just said is an excuse.
I know, but it's just, it's so long ago now. It's silly to even think about.
And I feel like the context of not being married, young dating in college.
We're dating, like, I'm talking, like, we're less than 6 months dating. Like, we only were together for like 30 days in person. Yeah. It just was all so, like, silly. Like, were you even going to be together? Who knew?
John, some say that you can be, or have accused you of being, like, controlling and judgmental of other women's bodies. Specifically, you have said that you never want Allie to fix her post-baby body. So my question is actually for Allie, and that is, do you think that one day in the future, maybe you will change your mind? You think, okay, I do want to get a mommy makeover or some sort of, you know, body makeover or whatever. And do you feel like you won't be able to do that because John had said this?
Oh God, no. I think that that's taken completely out of context. I think that John just, like, really is accepting and, like, helps me to love my body because he loves me for me, and, like, my body going through changes. Like, I housed our children, I grew our children. Like, he's so grateful for that. So I think that that's taken completely out of context. But I have implants, and him and I have talked about on so many occasions, like, obviously I'm going to have to get my boobs redone at some point. And I probably will. Well, it kind of depends. Like, I probably will get some lasers at the minimum for my stretch marks. I just have a lot of stretch marks now. I don't ever foresee myself going through, like, a tummy tuck or anything like that. I'm not, like, a huge believer in, like, just surgery to, like, fix things that you can fix. So, like, obviously I can't fix stretch marks, but, like, I can lose weight myself. So I'm not trying to, you know, depends on, like, if I have all this saggy skin, maybe we would talk about it, but I don't see that happening. And if I did decide to do that, I'm not worried about him being like, no, because he doesn't care.
In which case, you would definitely never do it and tell everyone that you exercise to look that way.
Never. I've always
That's the
said,
big thing
and I say that
for me.
now. I'm like, if I ever get anything done, whether it's just a laser or something more, I will be honest about it. Like,
yeah,
I just don't care to lie.
How does it feel when people say that your youngest daughter, Callie, seems underdeveloped or malnourished?
I think they've said that about both of our
Amy,
kids.
they said that about. At first, it was terrible because I would literally say things to Allie like, does she weigh enough? You don't know because you're a new parent, but like we're on our second child now. Now I'm confident enough to just be like, off. You have to edit this.
Well, it's all right. We'll beep it.
Yeah, you'll have to. But but at first it was infuriating and it was scary. I'm like, are we doing this wrong? Because I don't have mommy to call on the phone and be like, hey, is she okay? You know what I mean?
And are you talking about your mom specifically while y'all weren't talking?
Yeah. I mean, we could have called yours. I think we probably did.
I'm sure we did. We call my mom for like all the time for random stuff like that. But do I care? Not at all. Like, obviously my kids go to the doctor. Your kids, when you have babies, they go to the doctor all the time. If my doctor was concerned, she would say something.
Never has been.
Not a single time.
Oh.
Will you guys ever have a wedding? What is really the holdup? People think that you guys are actually, planning your separation, which is why you're not getting married.
See, this is the first time hearing it for us, too. This is the first time hearing it us for two. Well, first off, she got pregnant twice. That kind of puts a damper on our ability to get married. A pandemic happened, so there's reasons 3 and 4 why we didn't get married. We are actively trying to plan a wedding now and set an actual date.
I think I have a date that I want. I think I have a location that I want.
For 2022?
This year, yeah.
Oh?
We keep saying we want to do it this
Alex,
year.
you're invited.
Am I really?
Yeah,
of course,
come on.
Oh my gosh, stop. I will literally die. I mean, I would just be so honored.
Yes, please come. No, seriously.
I know for a fact that you and my boyfriend would get along so well.
Sure we would. I was going to ask you if you had a boyfriend. You do?
Yes, I do. And I know you guys would get along. You guys remind me of each other so much. Like same personality.
Really?
Yes, he's just as silly and outgoing as you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll happen this year. I mean, God, unless another pandemic happens.
Right.
Who knows?
Please no.
Don't say that.
Please no.
Okay, so you guys are openly conservative, which I really love. How has that affected you guys as influencers, seeing, obviously it's not popular to have conservative beliefs?
We definitely get trolled for it, significantly trolled for it. The left in general has made a big push for like closet conservatism, where, if you're a conservative, you better keep it hush hush, or you're racist, you are, all the negative things that go hand in hand with being a conservative, right?
So, and here's the thing, and I said this earlier, I think that, you can't really go after somebody and say, well, I don't like them because they're conservative. You just can't really do that. That's not going to fly with people. So I think that what happens is they don't like us because we're conservative, and then they have to reach into all the other spots. So now we're racist and we're homophobic, and apparently I make fun of people with disabilities,
which
when
blows
my younger
my mind.
sister has a disability. So I just don't even understand that one. But they'll just reach into all the areas to try and have something to come after you for. And anything that they can leech onto, that's what they're going to hold and keep doing it against you. And I'm actually positive that that's what a lot of it stems from, because somebody who was in charge of one of our hate pages at one point, she told me, she was like, well, I'm conservative and I don't agree with the stuff that they say, and it's kind of hard because I'm put in the middle. So it's it's just
a lot of it is they hate the fact that we're conservative, so they make it about other things, because you can't just say I hate them about because they're conservative. But on that same token, people support us so strongly because we're conservative. When I've had conservative ideologies that I'd share taken down from Instagram, I would get on Instagram and I would talk about the fact that they got taken down and make a coupon code for Strong and Sexy Fit that's related to, if you're a conservative, use this. And people, the outpour of support. So
conservatives do want to support
they
other
really
conservative
do.
brands.
They really do. They really do.
Allie, you brought up your sister. Why is advocating for life so near and dear to your heart?
because my younger sister has Down syndrome, and I just terminating a pregnancy for a reason at all. There's just no reason to terminate it. You're going to love your baby no matter what. And that's my sister, and I love my sister no matter what. Is she different? Yes. But we have such a strong relationship, and I'm just such a firm believer. I mean, my thing is I know people who have had abortions before and they always regret it, from what I know. But it doesn't make you a bad person. You just need to change your mindset. Like, that's just the way I look at it. Like, every baby can be loved, and every baby's going to love you back no matter what.
That's true. How does it feel when you hear about other countries who have, I mean, like a 99% rate of babies with Down syndrome being aborted? I mean, there are some countries where hardly anyone with Down syndrome even exists.
It's sad to me. Like, Sarah's so special.
Sarah, the death, I genuinely think there's a disconnect. I don't think people understand. I'm not saying this to say this. There's been times when I've been like in emotional turmoil and I have talked to Sarah about it. Sarah understands. She's cognitive. She offers advice, you know.
Loving.
So loving, silly, funny, can get under my skin like nobody else. Like, will troll me sometimes. And it's just like, oh.
Does she ever come stay with you guys and the girls in Houston like by herself, or does she need to be with your mom always?
No, she actually lives by herself in an apartment.
Oh, cool.
It's an assisted there's always somebody like in the basement. It's got different floors. So there is somebody there if there was like a problem. But she has a roommate. She lives by herself. She like takes care of herself entirely, cooks, all that. She has come to stay with us in Nashville, but she hasn't made it to Texas yet. She lives in New York. They have all these like weird rules about where you can travel and stuff. And she lives in housing that's like provided by the state disability thing. So she has to abide by their rules.
To your trolls who are listening right now, which you know some are.
1,000,000%. Hello,
100%.
ladies.
They will all watch this. They will
From your
They will
basement.
all watch this. Yeah, under your bridges.
What do you want to say to them?
You go first.
God, I've never even thought of what I would say to them because they're so far removed. I don't know. Find something better. If you are this dedicated to me and my family, you can be dedicated to something that's going to make you money, make you happy. There's no way that hating my family this much and putting that much dedication to it brings positivity into your life. So
I guess I would just say, in some ways, genuinely thank you. Because as much as the drive to be successful is a motivating factor, me never wanting to lose to these people who have put my family through awful things drives me to want to be a better dad, a better husband, more successful than anything. So thank you for pushing me to be my best self. And also, like I've said on Instagram a million times, like, you will never stop us. You will never stop us. We have been through the ringer through all of this, and we will never let you beat our family.
Talk about your business, your supplement company, Strong and Sexy Fit. What do you sell? What's so special about this supplement company? Why should people buy it?
I love Strong and Sexy Fit. So we started Strong and Sexy Fit, I think I mentioned, in 2017 as a fitness company selling ebooks. One of our really I just keep spinning in the chair. It's going to be so distracting.
It's just like comfortable to do.
Stop.
One of our most popular guides was the intermittent fasting guide, which basically taught people how to intermittent fast. It was wildly successful. I kind of grew up in the supplement era, right? So like when I was in high school is when pre-workouts started coming out and getting really mainstream and popular. So I was always fascinated by supplements. I managed a GNC for a couple years and kind of got in touch with what people liked, what people didn't like, what worked, what didn't work. And then in 2020, we launched our first product, which was our fat burner. And the whole concept behind Strong and Sexy Fit is full disclosure labels, which I'm sure you've heard me say on Instagram before. We don't do any proprietary blends. You know exactly what you're getting in every single product that you're taking, and they're strong, effective formulas. People make the joke often that I never graduated college, which you're correct. I didn't. And I
didn't either.
Did you not?
Really? No, and neither did Charlie Kirk.
Really?
Wow.
I make the joke, well, Elon Musk didn't go to school for rocket engineering, but he owns.
All the best people didn't go to college.
Honestly,
you know?
I hate to say that, but in a lot of ways it's true. But I did hire some of the best formulators to help me work on these products as well. So I'm not pulling out these formulas off of other companies' labels or out of my back pocket. I worked with some really big members in the supplement industry to create these products. So they work extremely well. And the reality is my contract manufacturer He actually owns a supplement company himself, and it is wildly successful. And he recently became a partner with Strong and Sexy Fit. He actually bought equity for my company. I don't know if I'm supposed to be sharing all this. He wants to remain anonymous because he knows how crazy our trolls are.
Yes. Good for him. He's smart.
Yes, he knows how crazy our trolls are, so he wants to remain anonymous. But his brand is like front and center, GNC right now. Like his brand is blowing up. And he sees so much potential in Strong and Sexy Fit that he's going to help us navigate the retail side of things. So hopefully we will be in some stores at the end of the year. But speaking on our formulas specifically, there's a huge disconnect between people who are in the supplement industry and people who aren't. All the processes and steps that take place with quality control, it's so extensive. People have no idea. People think I just get on Instagram and like tell you to buy a product. You have no idea the work involved of making something that works as effective as our products really do. The quality control protocols that my contract manufacturer follow are to a T. And because of that, our products, people who even hate us, we said this on the other podcast we did, love our products.
Really?
Yes. Trolls who will buy our products with the intentions of returning them or filing fraud will try them and they will get hooked. They'll love the products.
yeah.
That's the greatest compliment we
keep
ever
buying.
received. We have literal trolls who buy my products.
Who is the
consistently.
ideal candidate for using your all supplements?
We have a wide range. We started off in 2020 with just a fat burner. We now have a non-stim fat burner. We have Goddess hormone support product. We have collagen. We have a greens formula. We are working on a nightcap, which I'm stoked.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh,
So
this
good.
formula is amazing. This formula is amazing. We do not spare expense for our products. We could have way less quality ingredients and our margins would be way better, but we genuinely put great patented ingredients in our products. This nightcap product is going to be amazing. Goddess hormone support has been amazing for a variety of reasons. So who could use the products? If you're struggling with hormonal balances, if you want to lose some extra weight, if you want to replace your energy drink in the morning that's got Red 40 in it and need something to give you some more energy throughout the day. If you want thicker hair, skin, nails. Yeah, the collagen is amazing. I've been sold out of it for like 6 weeks. I've been sold out of it. I'm getting harassed right now.
What?
The people are like, when is the collagen back? When is the collagen back?
Yeah,
And I'm
where
like,
so where can we find this stuff? What's the website?
it is strongandsexy.fit. Yeah, strongandsexy.fit. Yeah, we have
Okay,
great
great.
products and yeah, we'll be restocking a lot of them here soon once we get supply chain issues sorted out.
Thanks, President Biden. John, you've said that you want to stay away from commenting on your relationship with your sister, Jesse James Decker. However, shortly after this huge public falling out and, you know, all I know is something happened. Basically, for those that don't know, something happened, which is what you guys kind of keep private, where basically Jesse's family, your mom for a little bit, and Allie, like you guys totally went estranged and then don't speak to each other anymore because of this big fight. And shortly after this, a stranger DM'd you wanting to know what happened. You gave vague details, but at least a little bit of details. And, you know, you have to know that anything you guys share, somebody can screenshot and share that publicly. So do you feel like in the moment you were just like, I want this to get out. I want there to be a little bit of the truth out at least so that people stop blaming Allie and I?
I don't know that we ever got blamed. I think people just wanted to know what happened.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think we got blamed either. And I don't even think like when it was happening, my mindset was, I want the truth to come out. I think really what it came down to, Alex, was, we were navigating all the other crap that we just mentioned before this. In addition to that, trying to navigate parenthood. And I was doing that entirely alone. And I was so angry.
When you received this DM asking what happened?
Not even from the DM, just in general. I was so angry from what happened. I still am. When Allie mentioned that like this might come up on the podcast, like ask her how my mood changed that night. I was in like such a stressed, anxious state because it was probably like the hardest period of my life ever, going through all of that.
As of right now, where do you stand with your relationship with Jessie?
I don't talk to her at all.
All right, so never before in the spillover history have we ever had a guest come back on to kind of give some more tea, because there has been serious updates between the time that we actually recorded the episode and then the time that the episode is being released. So the whole first part of the interview that you just heard, for cute conservatives listening, that was all recorded in early April. And so there have been significant updates in the last week for Allie and John. So welcome Allie and John back on the spillover. Hi guys.
How's it going?
So this is crazy. Tell us what all has gone down in the last week. So what you had told us when it came to your family was you just really weren't optimistic that there would ever be reconciliation, but then something went down on Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah. By the grace of God, and I really feel that way because, when we did shoot the podcast, I did not think there was a chance we would all be together in one room. Not a chance at all. But I know my mom really wanted us all to be together for Mother's Day. And I really wanted to fulfill that wish for her. I really did. And for her birthday. I'm sorry, did I say Mother's Day?
Yeah, it was for her birthday.
For her birthday.
Oh, okay.
For her birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, wait.
It was the weekend before Mother's Day.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
the weekend before Mother's Day. That's my bad. Okay, so in the last couple weeks then.
Yes. So she wanted us to all be together for her birthday. And I was really on the fence about going because I just didn't want to go and then it'd be awkward. Granted, some of us haven't talked in years. But, we decided to do that for her. And it was honestly amazing. It was amazing, not only for us, but for the kids as well. Like seeing all the kids play together was
it was really special.
It was. It sounds silly to say, but it felt like a dream come true. Seeing all the kids play together, they're so loving and so good with one another. So it was really amazing to see.
So what happened? You and Jessie, your sister, hadn't talked for years. When you walked in, was it just everybody's just cool and like you were able to be in the same room? Were there heart-to-hearts that happened?
Yeah, there definitely wasn't any like heart-to-hearts by any means. And so like we were there a couple days prior to me like actually seeing Jess and Eric. With Sydney, it was like we right where things left off, we were having fun, joking, being stupid like we always have historically together. But it wasn't until like a couple days after that we actually saw Jess. And it was just very cordial for the sake of my mother, I'd say. So
right.
There was definitely no heart-to-hearts.
But you did speak to each other. You did acknowledge each other and say hello.
Yeah.
Everyone was nice. Honestly, it wasn't like it was normal. It was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't like everybody's all cracking up together, but it was just family getting together.
Yeah.
So do you feel like this has now opened the door where you guys are going to start to be around each other even more?
I think so, 100%. I think honestly that's the hope. Not even just like for the sake of us, but for the sake of our kids, because I don't want our little girls missing out on some amazing aunts and uncles and cousins. So I definitely think it's the start. A lot of wounds, are still left to heal, but I definitely think it's the start of something great.
That's so awesome. I love a storybook ending, a really happy ending to all of that. And that's hard when you have, family members that you're on the outs with. And that's just a really, really tough thing to go through, especially you guys going through that for a few years. So that wasn't the only exciting thing that happened, though. Since we last talked, you guys did finally secure a date for your wedding.
Yeah, we did. Surprisingly enough, finally, yeah.
Okay, so when is the wedding actually going to be and where is it going to be?
So we're not going to give exact details.
Okay.
We're going to keep it a little bit secret.
For the sake of nobody showing up.
Yeah,
right?
that and it's just like.
But Alex, you're invited, obviously.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's like everything's so public. We want to keep a couple things to ourselves, but we're getting married this summer and it's going to be a quick turnaround.
Oh,
there's Indy.
There's one of them. Well, can you tell us at least, is it a beach wedding? Is it a church wedding?
It's going to be outside. It's near a beach, but it's not on the beach.
Okay. Hi, Emmy Grace. Emmy Grace has joined us. Hi. So,
That's Alex.
okay.
Can you say hi, Alex?
She's like, I have no idea who this girl is. That's all right. She's going to join us. Okay, so the other things I want to know, now that you have then been around your sister and everything, and you guys may start being around each other a little bit more and more as time goes on between now and the wedding, will Jesse and Eric and their family be invited to the wedding?
I'm going to invite them, yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to invite them. I want to move past everything. I think everybody is. And yeah, it's definitely in the plans to invite them.
Was there any correlation between the fact that you guys ended up now kind of reconciling, being around each other, and then you just happened to a week later decide, okay, now we finally are going to figure out when our wedding is? Like, did that kind of relate to each other?
Not at all. Which I can see as to how you would think that, but not at all. We actually did not plan on that because we didn't know. We were actually getting a wedding date figured out well before we knew that we were going to see everybody and see all the family together. So it really just kind of feels like God's plans, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you guys hopped on real quick to give us an update, because when I found out that this all had happened, I'm like, well, we can't put the episode out and not have some of this update. It's really like a nice little, bow on top of this gift here. So thank you guys so much for coming on, and Emmy for popping in, a little surprise guest.
Bye, Alex. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Bye. I never lie. I told you this episode was hot tea, and I always keep my promises. You should know that by now. I actually love having influencer guests on the show once in a while, especially because it's like picking them out of their grid and personifying them for you. Whether you love Allie and John or hate them, you cannot deny that this was 5 Orange Juicy. Make sure you're subscribed to The Spillover, and please leave a 5-star review if you are on the edge of your seat for this. That is the only way I ask you really to support us besides sharing the show, because this is a free show, but that helps us chart in the algorithm on Apple Podcasts. We are back, baby, next Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or you can watch the episode on the Politics YouTube channel. I'm Alex Clark, and this is The Spillover. Love you, mean it. Bye.
This is your brain. This is your brain on socialism. Any questions?
Okay, guys, be honest. Should I get this dress? Or... Hold on, let's see if I can find it. Or this dress.
I think the first dress for sure. Which one did you like?
So don't even talk to me unless you put beans somewhere that seemingly it wouldn't belong.
Okay, well, an extremely disturbing and sick bombshell just dropped about Doctor Strange actress Zara Fithian. Chick is a full-blown Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine. I'll tell you also about the latest uphill battle Johnny Depp is facing in his defamation trial against Amber Heard. There's a brand new show that's destined to win awards. I am adding it to your homework pile. And, of course, the Freak of the Week. I'm Alex Clark, and this is Politics. Everyone is talking about the Doctor Strange sequel right now. But did you watch the first 2016 Doctor Strange? Do you remember the brunette zealot played by Zara Fithian?
A world beyond time.
Well, that chick and her husband, Victor Mark, were both just convicted in Nottingham Crown Court of sexually assaulting and abusing a 13-year-old girl together over a 3-year period. What? The girl told the court that she was abused between 2005 and 2008 and that Zara, who was in her early 20s at the time, gave her a ton of rum and then taught her how to give oral sex to her husband. Over the next 3 years, the two of them would sexually abuse the girl and even film it. Zara denies everything, and she was even crying when the verdict came down. According to the New York Post, prosecutor Nicole Hepburn said the case was all the more appalling because the pedophile pair denied their actions, instead blaming the victims and accusing them of lying. But thanks to the brave victims' evidence, the Marks themselves have been exposed as the true liars. Sick to my stomach. I'm actually starting to wonder if it's a criteria of getting into Hollywood to be a pedophile, or in this case, a hebephile, as our friend Jim Clementi would say, since these offenders hurt a pubescent child.
I'm going to jail!
Johnny Depp this week has been in Europe enjoying a little break from the trial. They resume Monday, but Johnny is facing somewhat of an uphill battle in his defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard.
And I was walking out of the bedroom, slapped me across the face. I turned to look at him. And I said, Johnny, you hit me. You just hit me.
According to the New York Post, experts say there is another level to this lawsuit that people don't realize. The fact that Johnny is a celebrity is actually going to possibly hurt him because with public figures like Johnny Depp or Amber Heard, you need to go beyond proving that statements were false. You have to show that they were made with actual malice. In this article on the New York Post, they went in to explain that actual malice is a legal standard, that a false statement had to have been made knowing it was untrue or had to have been made recklessly, meaning the person didn't bother to check whether their statement was true.
My dog stepped on a bee. My dog stepped on a bee.
Here's my prediction. I think the trial is gonna be a wash. Neither Amber or Johnny will get any money. Johnny, I think, knows it's gonna be a wash, but I think Johnny wanted to go through this process publicly to get revenge on Amber for that BS article and get a name back for himself so that he can continue on with his career. I think it was a strategic PR move on his part, and I don't think that he really cares about getting $50 million from her. So you know what? May the best pirate win.
Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello.
Do you know who the James Decker family is? There's Jesse and Eric, Sydney and her husband Anthony, and then there's John, who's married to Allie. John is Jesse and Sydney's brother. Him and his wife Allie are influencers. And already with that, of course, there's scrutiny, but for them, there is this whole other level of hate and obsession because they're related to Jesse James and Eric Decker. There has been very public family drama between all of them, rumors of infidelity with Allie and John. Allie and John have been accused of child abuse and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's pretty safe to say, I think, that they are one of the most scandalous influencer couples out there right now. So I had to have them on the spillover to ask about all of these rumors one by one and learn more about who they are and what they believe. This episode is out now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Am I allowed to say that Hulu is arguably coming out with better original content than Netflix right now? Yes. I think I can. Except, am I the only one who thinks their format or operating system is atrocious? I don't know if that's the right word or not, like when I say format, because I'm talking about the fact that the next episode doesn't automatically start playing whenever you finish one. And also, why can't you skip intros? I have to watch the whole theme song or the whole opening credits or whatever, and I can't even skip it.
My life is more difficult than anyone else's on the planet, and yes, I'm including starving children, so don't ask!
Anyways, I'm talking about Hulu because I have been binging the new show Candy starring Jessica Biel, a true crime show about the 1980 murder of Betty Gore.
Candy, what brings you here?
I spoke to the police.
Axe murder.
As an ambulance chaser, he's a showman, loves attention.
Objection, objection, object to this, object again.
This show is so good. I didn't even want to come to work today because I just wanted to stay home and keep watching. And Jessica Biel, in my opinion, is giving the best performance of her life. So, so good. This is your new homework assignment. Add it to the list.
Actually, I wasn't aware that we had an assignment.
Do we have any Little House on the Prairie stands? I mean, I don't really know, maybe not, but if yes, and even if you're not, you're really gonna love Laura Ingalls, AKA the star Melissa Gilbert, even more. She basically is channeling her inner Morgan Zeggers and has moved to the New York Catskills where she and her husband have slowed down their lives, embraced the outdoors, and are living a life totally opposite of Hollywood. I mean, is this not every homesteader conservative's dream? Melissa said, our lives are simple now and there's a sweetness to that simplicity simplicity. And with that simplicity comes a real love for stillness and living my life in a peaceful place. She admitted that even though she grew up in LA, there was always something in her that loved the outdoors and simplicity. And it kind of sounds like after years spent losing herself in the industry, she has definitely found her happy place in a plot of land. And you know what? I'm here for it, and life imitates art, does it not? Conservatives, if you could homestead, have land, garden, do all the outdoorsy things anywhere in the United States, where would you choose? I think I would have to do Montana. No, Wyoming. No. Yes.
Well, I just had got done feeding my chickens, watering them and stuff, and
It's time for Freak of the Week. Sing to me, Benjamin.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week.
Former head of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, took to none other than Twitter to admit that he and the platform were wrong to ban former President Trump. I just can't take it!
Huh? What?
He said, generally, permanent bans are a failure of ours and don't work. And that it was a business decision and it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, no shit.
Then this guy had the audacity to say, I'm saying a corporation should not have to make this decision in the first place. Not for something as important as public conversation. I mean, I can't! No kidding, Jack! This is what conservatives were so freaking concerned about last year, you idiot! I'm sorry. Stuff like this just makes me so angry. You know what? I'm glad that you've had this great enlightenment, Jack, now that you've had some time off. But how about making public conversation important when you're actually in charge of it? Like, you legit shut down the voice of a world leader and a ton of people were celebrating it that you worked for, that you were in charge of, okay? This guy is a joke, and it's why he is our freak of the week. Maybe the month, maybe even the year. You know what? Let's just go out with a bang. You're not fooling us. Clearly you knew that this was the wrong decision to ban President Trump from Twitter when you were in charge of Twitter. So when you decided to leave because you started getting cold feet, wondering, you know what, maybe I'm participating in something that's really, really bad for culture and society by working here and censoring people and, inhibiting people's free speech, why didn't you unblock him before you stepped down? You could have done that right before you left, but instead you're a coward who only will say this and admit this after the fact.
Stoner bashing time.
Okay, you better heart this episode or thumbs it up because I'm probably gonna lose my voice from screaming so much. Don't forget that your new homework this weekend is to watch Candy on Hulu. What is your personal prediction for how the Johnny Depp trial will end? And if you have listened to the latest episode of The Spillover, what are your thoughts on it? We need all of the tea. DM this episode to somebody who is obsessed with Jesse James Decker and her family and ask them if they knew this episode was out. Click the save button on this episode. Also, thank you. Come again. We're back Monday for one more time at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, because we're doing this week-long trial run to see if you guys are liking 6 p.m. Eastern better or 4 p.m. Eastern better. And then we will decide if on Tuesday next week we will keep this going or if we'll go back to 4 p.m. We'll let you know. It's pop culture without the propaganda every single day. I'm Alex Clark, and this is Poplitics.
Clearly, Poplitics is best served visually, but you can also listen to Poplitics if you just want the audio. Subscribe to us anywhere you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, and more. Also, make sure that if you are listening to the podcast version, you leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget, subscribe to Poplitics on YouTube.